Maybe Ben Arbuckle isn't as in love with Jaden O'Neal as we originally thought. We're going to have to talk about this. Good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Logan Lickey, what's up, bud? What? It is a little early for you there, Raw. It's a little early for you. Welcome in. You want to pop in, you're welcome to. Where's everybody else at? Come on now. Come on. Everybody make sure to wipe those feet when you get in here. We'd appreciate it. Welcome into the show, though. Talk a little bit today about, well, it looks like maybe it's not Jaden O'Neal as much as we originally kind of thought. Talk a little bit about that. Looks like Oklahoma is, or Ben Arbuckle at least, sounds like he is, quote, making Bowe Bentley a priority on the recruiting trail. What does that mean for Jaden O'Neal? I don't know. I think maybe there's starting to look like there could be a little more interest in Bentley than there is O'Neal, and maybe that's why you got the guy headed off to Georgia this week to take a look. We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, there's a few different things we could talk about, but, you know, the schedule rankings from On3 kind of confirming Oklahoma's 2025 slate is brutal. They were rated that way. That schedule was rated the same way by ESPN. Also, Colin Cowherd's latest love fest with Sark and the Texas Longhorns. Give me a fucking break. And we'll talk a little bit about the latest coaches' rankings from The Athletic as well, as we get into some of this too. We may have a couple of guests popping in at some point, but no Dent today. It looks like I figured he's in Norman, so didn't figure he was going to be able to. But we may end up having one or two guys pop in before it's all said and done. Maybe Big Mike. We'll kind of see how everything goes. But yeah, let's see what's up. Hey, what's up there, Jan? What up? What up? Good to see you. Shout it out to Raw. What's up, Raw? What are you doing up so early this morning, bro? It's pretty wild. You got going on, man? It was a lively conversation in there in your talk yesterday, and I mean, we got to talking about it last night too. I had Nathan Balmer Brown on there. I'm still, and those guys are covering a hell of a lot more of this realignment stuff than I am, but it almost feels like that those dudes may end up. I just feel like you're probably in a situation where you're going to have to go to like 64 to 72. That's what I feel like if you're going to keep this thing going the way you should. Ken Sterling, welcome into the show. Good to see you. Yep. But anyway, let's get into what we were talking about with Bowe Bentley a little bit here. The Salina, Texas quarterback apparently has asserted himself. I mean, obviously, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country in this cycle, coming off that state championship, where they went undefeated there at Salina. And he played in the Navy All-American Bowl and kind of lit it up there too. But according to what he's saying, Oklahoma's recruiting him as hard as anybody. He was obviously there at the Future Freaks this weekend. He was enjoying what he saw too. He said seeing how fast they operate during practice and the attention to detail they have for everything stood out to me. Got to spend a lot of time with Coach Arbuckle and Coach Coos. They were showing me how I would fit into their offense. We spent the weekend there and we got to be in the meetings and see the behind the scenes on how they operate. Let's see. Feel good about Oklahoma leaving the visit. One of the biggest takeaways from the visit was how much of a priority I am to them and how much they are being patient with my time. What makes Oklahoma a contender for me is their last history with quarterbacks, and Coach Arbuckle has a good history with quarterbacks. I got to see that up close this weekend. Yeah. It would appear that maybe he is a bit more of a priority than maybe what you're seeing out of Jaden O'Neal at this point. What's up there, Drewski? Yeah, he may be. R. Moosehead. What's up, my guy? My gun sweetness. What's up, dude? What's up? Ken Sterling, of course, like I said. Yeah, I don't know. What are you guys thinking on this? To me, when he said making them a priority, and then all of a sudden, I don't think that the Georgia deal wasn't supposed to really happen. That wasn't something that you had heard anything about, and then all of a sudden he's heading over there this week. So, I mean, things definitely change in recruiting quite often. But as we kind of talked about last week, he's been, Jaden O'Neal's been very, definitely been very loyal to the Oklahoma brand. He's been committed to OU for about a year now, over a year. And he hadn't went anywhere else, hadn't done any of that other kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden here it is. He's headed out. So definitely got some writing on the wall right now. So we'll kind of have to wait, see. What is it? You think Cali recruits have been the worst for OU? I don't know, man. Kind of depends. I mean, what are you talking about lately, or why should you avoid them all the way? What's up, number 8? Why should they avoid them? Who's been a big problem? I don't really know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I don't like any of these. Oh, there we go. Should avoid them in the future, huh? Why? Let's see. Seeing that neither recruit has played ball at this level, so the downside would be the loss of recruits coming with O'Neal. Yeah. Well, I mean, are you talking about the guys from when they were? Are you talking about the guys that Lincoln had recruited last, or are we talking about who are we talking about exactly? I don't know. I think when it comes to, I mean, obviously, the guys that left the class whenever Lincoln left the program, kind of had to expect that, I would think. But then again, I mean, I guess I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. I think right now, if you look at what it's been like around the country, they've mostly been going. Most of the California kids, the best ones, have been going to Oregon lately or Alabama. So that's been where most of them have gone. Now you've had the guys that went in with Lincoln. You had the quarterback that ended up at Boise State. Now he's at UTEP. You had, I forget that kid's name all of a sudden. Another, 5-star kid or whatever, but he hadn't really panned out anywhere. And then, of course, Zachariah Branch as well. Now he's at Georgia. But, I don't know that I would necessarily make that jump, but I get what you're saying, I guess. In any event, I would even see Caleb Kelly was on. Well, wasn't Joe Mixon a California kid, if I remember correctly? He's Oklahoma through and through. What's up there, Moyer? What's up, my guy? Good morning. I don't know, man. And in the end, it is what it is. I think you go after the guys that you like and that you identify. They also had. I mean, they got Champ Sanders a couple years ago. Liked him. But O'Neal's been a big recruiter for OU since his commitment. That's correct, Tulsa. So I'm saying if he goes, then the guys that he's bringing with him may also. That's possible. Um, yeah, it was Malachi. What's up there, T? What up, dog? Yeah, I mean, that's possible. And here's the thing, that's why we were talking about it last week whenever, I think that was one of the things that was brought up the night before on the show with Chris and Chris Mason as well. And then we talked about it that next morning, on Friday morning, I guess it was. That's the whole deal, is that whatever is going to go on, you would hope that this happens soon, because you do need to go ahead and get your guys locked in. Generally speaking, your quarterback, you want them locked in pretty early. That's been the way it is, because they do jump onto the recruiting side. Now, if you're going to lose whoever, I'm not exactly sure who, as far as, I don't know how many commits we have really for this class, to be honest with you. Let me look real quick. Let's see. I'm not exactly sure how many commits they have, but they've got 4 total commits. So there's not a ton of guys that are, I guess, yeah, St. John Bosco, Daniel Odom, I guess he would be one of the guys coming with O'Neal. But he's the only California kid. And he's a 4-star guy, 6'1", 178. I mean, receiver, I would expect that, I guess. Ryder Mix, though, from Lone Star Frisco, he's a 3-star guy, 6'4", 220. I don't know, man. I don't think any of these other guys are really coming from there. IMG kid is Will Conroy's. That's probably another David Stone get. So, and I guess I would say if you're going to end up getting Bowe Bentley, he's probably going to be able to recruit some of those guys that even if you did lose somebody as well. Right now, they don't have a ton. Right now they don't have a ton. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I think O'Neal is him too. We talked about this on Friday. I like what he has. I like his big arm. I like the size that he is. But, I've got that video that we were showing the other day of Bowe Bentley as well. That guy's him too. Undefeated in Texas football. I mean, he had somewhere in the neighborhood of like 60 touchdowns last year when they won it. In 4A, of course, but it's still NIL or UIL football in Texas is pretty big. So I would not, I wouldn't worry. But you need to. Here's the thing: you don't want to lose either one of them. If you're gonna lose one, the expectation was you already don't have. I mean, you've had O'Neal. You've had O'Neal committed for a year. So if you don't get Bentley, it's kind of a gamble on the part of Arbuckle, I think. I really do. Now, that being said, I don't know for sure that John Mateer is going to be a one and done guy here, depending on how they finish the season up. So that would mean, I don't know, that it would depend on what happens or whatever. But I think, chances are you probably have a couple of years with the guys that you have in the room. Now you do want to get them, brought, you want to get as many guys in there as you can competing for it. But I like that Jet New kid too as well. And from what I understand, he was an Arbuckle guy as well. That was there was a possibility of him going to Washington State, I think, even. So, I don't know, man. It's definitely, this is the game you play though. But I would say that, I would say I understand what you're saying, Bishop Frank, but I would tell you this. So is that other dude, man. So is Bowe. He can play as well. He did decommit? No, he didn't decommit yet. No, I thought you said He did. No. Not that I know of. I'm just saying, I mean, it looks to me like I was just reading what he had said, and, his exact quote is, "I feel good about Oklahoma leaving the visit. One of the biggest takeaways from this visit was how much of a priority I am to them and how they are being patient with my time. What makes Oklahoma a contender for me is their last history with quarterbacks. Coach Arbuckle has a good history with quarterbacks as well, and I got to see that up close this weekend. They had him in on meetings. They were really kind of throwing out the red carpet for him. My assumption is that O'Neal was probably there too. Um, I don't know, but if he felt like they were giving all the love to Bentley, that may have been the reason for his decision to make a visit over to Georgia. Now Bentley is still taking. He's got visits still set up with. Let me see here. He's got a trip on March 15th and 3 days to LSU. Then he's at Ohio State on the 18th, Georgia on the 20th, Florida State on the 22nd, and then Georgia Tech on the 29th as well. So he's got a few more visits coming. Oh, I think we got. Oh, yeah. Cool. We have somebody in here to talk about this. Hold on real quick there. I didn't even see you down there, Coopster. Welcome into the show from Unfair Sports, our boy Coop. What's up there, Coop?
What's going on?
I don't hear you. Hold on real quick. It could be me. Let me check this setting real quick.
How about now?
Yeah, there you are. It was on
There you go.
the way I had it set up. What's up, man?
Oh man, just
Well, maybe not.
enjoy. Oh, you still not hear me? Topher, can you hear me? Anybody?
I got
Anybody?
I got you now. I got you now. I
Okay.
got you.
This
Yeah.
is
What's up, man? What's up, man? Good to talk to you. I know you've been busy lately, man. What's going on?
Yeah. Man, we've got in the spring in the advertising world. There's so many, so many people spend so much money, and so the advertising stuff is just kind of going crazy. We do a deal with work, and so this is my suggestion to everybody on the stream. I want to give you a chance to win $100,000 or at least 50,000. But go to just keep an eye out. But USA Today is going to do a competition where you give away $100,000. I think $50,000 is the grand prize, and so you guys just keep your eye out.
Oh
Whether it's
shit.
Oklahoma, you can find one on the Oklahoman. And literally all you do is you got to give them your email address. You register to win. And last year I got to give the check out to the winner. It was a family who massive Clemson fans. And they live in
Wow.
Greenville, South Carolina. And as I'm sitting there talking with the family, football kind of comes up, and the first picture they pull from the phone is I think the 10-year-old kid and a picture of Brent Venable's son. And so I was like, "You want to know something kind of fun?" I said, I've talked to Coach Venables a couple times, and I do an Oklahoma podcast. And so that next night when I got back, we gave him a shout out on our show. But yeah, that's coming up again. So we're kind of getting geared up for that. It's the Project Home Improved. All you got to do is register your name, email address, phone number, and then I think competition goes for about 6 weeks. So trade some spam for some not spam. Trade from some marketing emails.
Some marketing emails, man. You got to say it right, man. Come on now.
Yeah. So, but if you have to get your burner list. Again, I would encourage everybody if you're really needing some coin. This guy has.
Shit, I do. I'm
Yeah,
in.
you don't have to use it for home improvement, but if you do need something home improvement wise, go by, check it out. Whether it's Oklahoma City or wherever you're listening. Nothing in Tulsa. Sorry, we don't own the Tulsa World. We just own the Oklahoman. But Yeah, man. So this quarterback situation, that was what you
Yeah.
kind of asked me. So for a fact, at the festivities on Saturday, Jaden wasn't there.
Okay.
Um, and so I was talking to his dad. Again, just up front, I'm going to be really, really honest. Jay and I think PG and myself, those two a little bit more than me, but we've had a good relationship
Yeah.
with Jaron and Jaden O'Neal for a while now. When I saw the Bowe Bentley stuff start to come out, it makes sense, right? And the reason why I say it makes sense is because you've got you can't just take one quarterback. Like you got to do it. And so when Bowe Bentley was offered, that was the first thing that we kind of had conversations with the family on was obviously this is a reason. But I'll say this is last year about this time we had a quarterback commit hanging out at the Ever Center or at the indoor facility, and Jaden O'Neal comes and starts tossing the ball around, and oohs and ahs start going left and right, and the Sperry family got a little pissed off, and they were not happy with the attention that the O'Neals were getting.
Yeah. I remember that.
Now it's the same situation. I will say that it's not a terrific situation for Jaden O'Neal to commit to Oklahoma, and then you go out and you get a new OC, and then he goes after his own person, who kind of looks like the cat that is coming with him to be our starter this year, and so I would say this: it's Bowe Bentley now. I think there's a massive amount of ball in your court for Bowe, and there's a massive
Right.
for Jaden and the O'Neal camp, and
So wait,
whichever
by saying that, just a second, let me clarify what you're saying. You're saying the ball's in his court to whether or not they would hold up their end of the
yeah.
offer, is what you're saying? So if Bowe
So
decided he does choose Oklahoma, then you feel like Jaden they would pull their offer for him?
no. Here's
No,
what I say.
but he'll leave though, right?
That's not guaranteed. I mean, we've
Right.
had that open conversation. It's not guaranteed. Now, I think that what happens is because there's this little fragment of there's a fragment of self pride, and there's a fragment
Sure.
of just, but not bad self pride, but like they're like, listen, like I was your dude, and then now I'm not. Like, what's going on? Like, I didn't change. I just went out there and did everything. And you got to say, from the O'Neal camp, they just moved to Mustang. So, like, if you've ever asked them,
I
like,
know, that's what I'm
how
saying. We talked about this Friday, same thing we were talking about. Was like,
how all in has the O'Neal camp looked? I mean, 100%. Now, I will say this is Ben Arbuckle can't go. He has to go get another quarterback. You can't just because I saw it in the chat here. And Jason, let me put a pin. Put a pin.
yeah,
I just
go
want
ahead.
to say that like
I'm about to say the same thing.
your viewers, and a lot of the viewers that we share, you guys are phenomenal. You guys are ball knowers. You are consumers of content, and most of you guys in the chat. I just say like you guys are terrific, and I just appreciate the fact that like you guys are consuming content, and so just keep it up. Like it's great for us, obviously, as content creators, for you to want to hear more of us, but then at the same time, like I appreciate every single one of you guys. So just throw it out because I read so many times in the chat, people say something, and I'm like, that's a point I need to remember to make. So the O'Neal camp has done
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
they're supposed to do, right? You're going to have to go get a second quarterback. What makes this situation a little different is the fact that Jaden has not been able to go to a bunch of camps. They had half their season canceled this year because people not wanting to play, the ineligibility situation. And so his ranking has come down a little bit. Whereas Bowe Bentley is on a heater right now, and his ranking is going up. And I think that the polarizing switch of the two quarterbacks makes this thing a little bit more edgy because let's be honest, like if Bowe Bentley was in the Jet New type of ranking, I don't think this is an issue.
Right. No, it wouldn't be.
Like
It wouldn't be.
if
You're
it's
right.
like he's 600 in the country or something like that, not an issue. But um, I say this: I told, I mean, I could read it verbatim. I told Jaden's dad the other night, I want the best for you.
Yeah.
Now, selfishly, if that means you coming to Oklahoma, I'm all for it. But I want the best for you, and just that's the difficult part about having conversations and
Well, building relationships with guys too.
with
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
who
absolutely.
I mean, you used to be able to say that it's just recruits because they could commit somewhere else and be gone. But now, I mean, you come on the team, you're there for a short while, and then you're bouncing. I mean, I
Yeah.
can throw back great relationships like guys like Kamori Moore, the defensive tackle. I can say that the Sperry family.
Well, yeah,
Have
it was the same way with us and like
Bart.
with me and like Makari Vickers and his family. You know, I got
Yeah,
pretty tight with them. So
yeah,
yeah, I
and
mean, it
so
kind of sucked watching them leave too. But I mean, I get it. It is what it is. But you just kind of wish them the best is all you can really do.
yeah, and Marky Anachor, who was a linebacker, developed a great relationship with him. He ended up committing to SMU because he didn't have a committable offer, and we only
Yeah.
took one linebacker, so that was odd. But no, I'll just say I think that the best case scenario for this is both of these guys come, and that is very much on the table. The O'Neal camp is not going to bounce out and roll out the moment Bowe Bentley commits. It's not a set decision.
Yeah.
Now,
It's something
when
that it's going to definitely make it be. It'll
yeah,
be a
now
talking point for sure, though, right?
you run the risk, massively, massively run the risk when you decided to have the conversations with another quarterback. You ran this risk. So this is not something that like Ben Arbuckle's going to Brent Venables being like, I just don't understand what they're doing. Like, why are they upset that we're talking to another quarterback? Like it. I just say this. It's Bowe is the Arbuckle guy. O'Neal is not the Arbuckle guy. And I also think this is I mean, it's the same thing as I was having a conversation. This is a fun story. I had to go get my septic pumped last night. So we're on septic out to where we're at. Had to
Great stuff. Yeah, hell
call
yeah.
out the septic lady, and she was asking me about neighbors. And so, like 2 doors down, we have an older couple who the husband bounced. I mean, like a 60-year-old man bounced for like a 30-year-old woman and left his wife, kids, everything just up and gone, right? And the septic lady that is goes, well, if she's accepting you today, don't be surprised that she's accepting somebody else tomorrow. And I was like, that's been my scheme is if you if you're the husband goes and cheats on his wife with a younger woman, and that younger woman, don't be surprised that younger woman gets another older man at some point down their line too, because she's showing a pattern. And I think that that's the situation that we kind of find ourselves in right now is, O'Neal came in, Sperry, got a little frustrated, and they ended up leaving, right? And then now it's kind of the same situation. Now the oohs and ahs are for Bowe Bentley. He was here on Saturday, whereas Jaron is up at the or Jaden is out the facility throwing, the Mustang facility. Then the next day, we see the note that he's in Georgia. Worst case scenario, Jason, is you screw around with Jaden and you lose him, and then Bowe Bentley commits to Ohio State. You're muted now.
That's what I was just saying. That's what I was just saying is like you're running the risk here. And that's what we were talking about this on Friday too. Whenever I had Marcus Dent and Boganowski and those guys were all here talking, and even Chris Mason. And it was like, look, whatever you need to do, this needs to be right now. You've got this guy. He's been loyal to the camp, loyal to Oklahoma. Yes, he's not Arbuckle's guy or whatever, but he's been loyal to it throughout all of this stuff that he didn't really have to stay loyal through. because it was a shit show last year in Norman. When it came to offensive play, I mean, and he didn't have to stay loyal. He did anyway. Obviously, he has been. Your quarterbacks are big recruiters for you in the cycle. We know that. And yeah, I know that he's made relationships throughout the fan base, throughout the content creator base, and everything else. I think it's this is the sucky part of what recruiting is, but it's also, you can't blame him for going and looking wherever he wants as well. And not that I ever would anyway, even if this wasn't going on. But I also can't blame Arbuckle necessarily for wanting to look at his guy. I mean, listen, let's just be real. Bentley looks really good too. Really good.
And he looks a lot more like John Mateer.
He does look similar to Mateer. Yeah, you're right.
And now, do you remember? And now I'm blanking off of it. But not this past year, but the last time Ohio State won the national championship, they're on their third string quarterback. I can't remember the dadgum guy's name. He ended up kind of never doing anything more than that nice little playoff run. But I compared Jaden O'Neal to a Jameis Winston. Jaden is not a massively mobile quarterback. Like, he can run and he can get around, but I mean, like, he's more of a stand in the pocket type of stuff. You heard, like, on the interview with us, he said that his comp would have been CJ Stroud, and CJ Stroud's not really known as a runner, whereas like this offense needs a little bit more of that. And oh my God, like, why would you dilute the show by bringing this clown in? I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute. Dang.
That was well done.
But no, I just say this is, I mean, if you don't understand in college football that the coaching staff's job is to replace you,
absolutely,
then somebody is failing you massively. Mike, like, I'll just say, there is so much buzz around your son right now. And you're just kind of hearing some of the stuff from RP and from Wimberly, and then, there's a lot. But if you came into me and you're like, man, Coop, they're talking to this 26 5-star safety guy, and he really wants to play day one. And I don't know. I mean, I just think that like that's a different situation, because then you go like, listen, Mike, I mean, yes, they're going to recruit more safeties in the future. So worry about your own, push yourself and go, because we saw that if you don't do that, you get situations like the Dylan Gabriel 2022 game, to where you have, nobody behind Dylan Gabriel. But like in the safety room, you're going to have just absolute studs from this point on, coming in year after year after year. Michael Boganowski Jr. is no longer an exciting name. I mean, everybody's excited about him, but he's no longer the new exciting name in the safety room. Now it's Omarion Robinson. Now it's Marcus Wimberly. And so, like, you got to be able to, like, as a parent and as like somebody over the top of one of these recruits, is you kind of have to understand that, like, this is the nature of the beast. But as a head coaching staff, you also got to know, you F around, you find out. You do one thing wrong, and somebody's going to have the excuse that they need to leave and to move on. And so, man, I would like to say this, if I had it, so the ball is in, I think, Bentley's court first, and then it goes on to the O'Neal camp. So yeah. Bentley, if I had to place a hard-earned dollar, Bentley's going to be a Sooner. If I had to place a hard-earned dollar on what's going to happen with the O'Neal camp, I truly don't know at this moment. As of this very second, though, they're in. But they also know that they know their value and they know their worth.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, man. It screams. Did I just hear you say you think that Bentley's a Sooner?
I think he will be a Sooner. Yeah, I just, Like it's different. Like the connectivity of relationships between OCs and quarterbacks, it just looks different. Now, obviously, I'm not seeing what the quarterbacks coach at Ohio State is, and I would love for Jaden O'Neal, if he was not a Sooner, I would love him to go to Georgia, because I think that he is a step up for what they've been putting out there recruiting wise at the quarterback spot. But man, listen, like if you're a big time quarterback, like to go to Georgia and to be a difference maker, it's going to be the first time, because the only time they've had effective quarterback has been, Baker Mayfield light with Stetson Bennett. And so like they've had 5-star guys like Vandegrift, commit there, and then it just never looked like anything. Fields was there, and then he bounced. So I mean, like they keep on getting these 5-star guys that never show up or never actually turn into anything.
I mean,
And so
I feel like that's an indictment on why he shouldn't go to Georgia.
exactly. I
Yeah.
like that's where I'm going, is like I'm not too worried about. I would be more worried about Ohio State, but at the same time, Ohio State kind of has like a niche for and again, I know CJ Stroud's doing really really good right now, but like they've kind of got a niche too for the quarterback who's a system guy, and the biggest push for you is like you can come catch, throw balls to 5-star receivers all day long. And I mean, up until this year, that pitch hasn't really ever meant like, but you will be an effective draft pick and go high, and have a solid career in the NFL. CJ Stroud's changing that narrative a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up there, Big Bogue? Good to see you, man.
Yeah. Shit, I'm out here mouth breathing, bro. I'm out here full blown mouth breathing right now, man. I don't know if it's allergies, sinuses, what,
Yes.
but I don't
Full
want to go to
blown
sleep.
mouth breathing.
Yeah, I'm mouth breathing, bro, like big time. Me, my wife, my youngest Cam, we're all just competing for oxygen.
Right.
But yeah, I don't want to
Hey,
get too
Jen, I'm
deep
just
into it,
busting your
man.
chops.
I don't want to get you banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about shots. We won't do that.
No. We don't do that. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, we're talking about this deal. Apparently, it's starting to look more and more like O'Neal. Well, and you just heard Coop. He's saying that he believes that Bentley's going to be coming to Oklahoma. That would tend to make you believe that O'Neal is probably elsewhere. If you're just reading tea leaves and how it works out with these quarterbacks, I was just saying, no, I'm just busting your chops there, Dent. Don't worry about it, man. I was just fucking with you. But
Yeah, for a minute there, I thought that was you having a conversation with yourself
no, I just
on the Gridiron Insight.
oh yeah. No. He's
He's on there. He's on there watching.
it's Big Dent. Yeah, he's there in Norman though. So he couldn't jump on
Oh yeah,
with us this
that's
morning. He's
right.
got some stuff
That's
going
right.
on, so couldn't jump in with us, but he's at least in there, and we appreciate that. Michael's there today too. We got Michael Steven in town, that running back out of Mississippi. What school is he out there again? He'll be there this week, the next today and tomorrow, I guess. That kid's got some speed, bro. That kid's got some speed. Like seeing what he's a 27 guy, obviously.
So
But
I
go
want
ahead.
to talk. Last time we talked about this
Yeah.
this QB situation. Let me tell you something, man. I want to retract all of my previous statements, man. I don't think O'Neal's coming. I don't think it's going to be him. Um, I,
What do you mean?
I I I don't think he's coming. I don't think he's coming to Norman. I think he's going to end up decommitting, and I think it's going to be Bentley.
It's starting to look that way. I mean, I was just
Yeah,
reading the quote from Bentley where he said that they
made
made
him
him a
feel.
priority.
Yeah. I listen, man. And here's why I say it, man. Like Jaden O'Neal was the previous staff, and one thing that I do know about college football and coaching, and I'm not trying to act like I'm out here, the Nick Saban of this shit, but like coaches want their guys, right? Coaches want their guys, and
Yeah.
it don't matter if he's a 5-star or 4-star. Coaches want their guys, so I mean, do I like it and agree with it? No, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, I think it's 100% going to be Bowe Bentley. And I have a hard time believing that cat moved all the way to Oklahoma knowing that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy to me, man. That hasn't worked out well, for quarterbacks, at least to my knowledge, moving out near the school that they're committed to and going to high school. I mean, you could think of Raiola, Sperry, and now probably this O'Neal dude. Like, I don't know, man. That's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
And another funny thing on this one is, at one point, the O'Neal camp was trying to reclassify and for 25 and move up here. And I don't know how well known that is. And so
I remember PG and you were talking about that day on the show whenever we were in there.
Yeah. And so, it just is what it is at this point. Like, again, it's when you have. That's why this decision to hire Seth Luttrell has just turned into an absolute shit show. Just, it just like there's new chapters. And it's like, is that story done? We're like, no, it's not done yet. It's going to continue to echo for like 4 or 5 more years, because you're going to be able to look back and be like, well, why did, like you look back at pulling Quentin Griffin's red shirt, for the bowl game like so many years ago, and we could have used him, at the end of his career a lot more. And it's revisionist history. So you're going to go back and have these situations. But I just say this is when O'Neal committed, he stayed committed. And that's why I always think it is good to kind of, because I think O'Neal's still committed to us. He's still a Sooner. As of today, he's still a Sooner. Now, it is not guaranteed that he will go somewhere else.
Well, but of course not. But if Bentley comes, I wouldn't guarantee it necessarily, but he's not staying.
Because I mean, let's look at this. If you're a good quarterback and he comes in here, I said it was Sperry. Maybe he should have just committed, wrote it out, and had his people start having conversations, talk about that stuff. But he landed at Florida State, and that's great. Now with O'Neal, if he's really, really locked in and thinks that he can come in here and beat out Bowe Bentley, he's going to do that, and he's going to come in here. I'm just saying that at this point, you got to look at like how the staff has kind of Arbuckle has not shunned O'Neal, but he's definitely, I mean, Bentley is the guy that he wants. And Mike, before you hopped on, I said what makes this even more of a situation is the fact that Bowe Bentley is rising so fast, and Jaden took a little bit of a drop in the last rankings because he didn't play half the year. And he did light it up. I mean, he had phenomenal stats, but Arbuckle's system is more of a. I mean, you just look. I mean, let's talk about Mike again. Is you guys chose here because the attention showed to you, but because the scheme fit. And if you played, if you came here and visited and it was more of a finesse type of a defense, speed D type of a situation, you guys probably aren't here. You're not probably you don't want to go play for some soft defense that is ran by, somebody who wants the safeties, 5 to 6 yards behind receivers chasing them into the end zone. Like, you wouldn't have come here because it wasn't a style fit. And I think that is also a big piece too, is the style fit is more catered towards Bentley. And so when it all comes down to it, I mean, you end up with Bentley or you end up with O'Neal, you end up with a winner. I think that if you end up with both of them, I mean, kudos and congratulations to the staff. But there is the risk of you end up with neither of them.
Yeah, that's what can happen. You can't go 0-2 with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can't go, and even if you do land both of them, I don't think that lasts for more than a year.
No.
One will hop in the portal after that, and he come in and compete, and then one of them realizes I'm not it. He's better than me, so I gotta go find somewhere else. But
it happens more with quarterbacks than anybody else for sure.
You're right back at square one in the portal looking for a quarterback, man. It's a never ending circle. You're always looking for a quarterback.
And I say this is don't point towards Michael Hawkins as the rule, because Michael Hawkins is the exception of a
He is the
high
exception.
caliber
He is
quarterback.
the exception. Absolutely.
Because he just is. So you're not going to see this type of stuff because, I saw somebody just posted in here. Yeah, Daniel Tulsa. It's professional sports now, so loyalty, is out the window. Because I promise
Yeah.
you, we get mad that some of these kids do some of the things that they do, but then we see coaching staffs do the same thing.
I was
And
fixing to say, how many of the guys that got into the portal this year, they were in the portal because out of Oklahoma because they were told to go get in it.
yeah,
The majority of them.
and
All but what 5 of them.
yeah,
You know?
you look at Lewis Carter. I mean, Lewis Carter was a situation where that was rumored last year that he was homesick and wanting to get closer back to Florida. Sometimes those situations just happen, family situations, whatever. You don't think that Lewis Carter wanted to play linebacker here, like he did. And if Brent Venables was coaching UCF, he would be at UCF. But a lot of these guys, their job is to recruit over you and to put somebody better. And your job is to keep your status, keep your position, is to work your butt off in order to stay ahead of the next guy coming in.
Well, you said this a little earlier, right as you got in here too, is that the job for all these coaches is to recruit over the top of you no matter what. And they tell them that all the time too. So that's that's the first thing that you got to be looking at is this is what you're trying to do is get you're trying to get better players every cycle, no matter what. You're trying to knock somebody out of a job. So it is what it is. And in the end, look, I would just say we've got 4 commits as of right now. One of them, I think he's probably tied to Jaden, the receiver there out of
Odom.
Yeah, he's out there in Cali somewhere.
Yeah. But he was at I was trying to think of the school he's at.
He said it.
I don't remember.
I was just looking at it a second ago.
Bosque? Is it Bosque?
He's from St. John Bosco, yeah.
Yeah.
St. John Bosco. That's it.
And so Sooner in Texas. No, I don't think that Arbuckle said I'd rather have Bowe Bentley instead of Jaden O'Neal. I think it's a situation where he said, I need to go find another quarterback in this class, so I need to have a room with 4 because I think Cole Gonzalez is going to be gone. If Mateer comes back again, Hawkins is probably gone. So you need to plan out a little bit, and so.
Yeah, if Mateer doesn't go pro after this year, I don't know that's necessarily the case, but I would think. But again, that's the exception, not the rule. If he
doesn't go pro, that means we probably didn't have the year that we wanted.
I mean, or we fell just short, and it looks like
of getting into the playoff or something, and you might be ready to make a run. Yeah. But I think that you, at that point, you're looking at Hawkins as you don't know what's going to happen the year after that either. You could come back and you could get hurt, and you could, or you could get beat out for that matter. Who knows? You know what I mean? It happens.
Yeah, but I also don't think that. I think that Ben Arbuckle had, really, evaluated and found Bowe Bentley as a person that he wanted to go after, and then Bowe Bentley just kept on rising, and so I don't think this situation was, Arbuckle was like, I got to find somebody else because I don't like O'Neal. Like I know that's not the case.
Oh no! How could you not? How could you not watching his film?
I think he wants both. Like, to be honest with you, I think he really. I think at the end of the day, his goal is to have both of them.
Yeah, no, he said. But again, when you replace your OC, your quarterback's coach, you're going to have this situation happen. And so, nothing's been done yet as of right now. O'Neal is still committed to the Sooners, and Bentley is not committed to anybody. So, I mean, this is going to continue to go on for a couple weeks, and the portion that I would go that concerns me is the fact that, like, the quarterback is supposed to be the big piece of the recruiting class. You know, you get him in, and then he starts working towards people. Both of these guys are phenomenal, charismatic guys, and both of these guys are going to bring in people. You know, they're going to have a recruiting prowess that they're going to be working on. So they're going to be working on more receivers, offensive linemen, etc. I don't think that you lose with either one. The only way that we lose this situation is to have neither. And what's crazy is, you know, I was reading, I think it was in our Discord. There are some Georgia fans that were comparing Jaden O'Neal to Kyler Murray. No, that's the opposite end of the
I was
spectrum.
going to say they're not even kind of
that's
close to the same
that's
player.
you know, Jaden's 6'3", 6'4",
Yeah.
big arm.
Yeah.
You know, move around in the pocket.
Kyler had a big ass arm. Kyler
Not-
had a big
not a-
ass arm, but
Yeah, not a running threat. And so,
I think your Jameis Winston was a pretty good comp.
yeah, I got to think of this kid. The quarterback, nobody ever posted in here, but yeah, there was the quarterback that won the last national championship for Ohio State.
They did two posted.
string
It was oh shit. They did post it in here a minute ago, but
Cardell.
Cardale Jones.
Yeah,
That's it.
Cardale Jones. Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
another
also
good
similar.
comp for him.
Also
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
You're Sooner in Texas, right, man? A bird in the hand. That's it, man. Like I just hope that shit don't bite us in the ass and we end up 0 for 2 with either one of these cats, man. But you know, I get it. I mean, listen, man, they're shooting for the stars right now, right? The coaching staff and like who they're trying to recruit, man. They're going after. They're not like, oh man, that dude's a 5-star. He's got this, and this school, and we don't have a shot. You know, we're not.
Shit. And I don't think that that's the case at all, ever.
But that does happen, though. That happens a lot. That happens a lot.
That's the Okie Light way of recruiting.
Yeah,
you know, for sure. Yeah. No, I get it.
You know, it's at the end of the day, man, like our future's bright in the quarterback room. I think Michael Hawkins Jr. is him. I think he's gonna be that dude, and it's only a matter of time. In my opinion, I think Mike Hawk is that guy.
I do too.
With a quarterback coach, and you know, a competent offensive coordinator, and some more of these weapons and running backs, and you know,
bro, they've got running backs.
The O-line is, to me, like that is where we cannot afford to fail, and we need and it's quiet as kept is probably still a question mark. You know what I mean? Because we got a lot of questions up front in the O-line.
Sure.
And you know, I just you know, we need these cats to show up big, man, and get mean and start moving people around. And you know, if they can hold their own against our D line, you know, they'll be straight. So you know, they're going against the best, in my opinion. So you know, these EPLs and Isaiah Autry Dents and Ozaidas and you know, Iasosas, like it's a big year for them, man, and we need them dudes to be who Oklahoma and the recruiting rankings projected them to be, man, and you know, we just cannot afford to be up front like we were last year. You know, we cannot afford to have that same offensive line in 2025. We can't do it.
Oh no, there's no way. There's no way. You have to play much better on the offensive line than that. And I think, you know, but when you have Bill Bedenbaugh,
don't get me wrong. You're right. You said it, Bill Bedenbaugh.
When you have Bill Bedenbaugh and you have look, I think that the 2024 class, we've talked about it a ton in here. That 2024 class had some dudes in there. You know, Isaiah Autry Dent being one of them. And they've got some dudes. You know, Eddie Perry-Louis, we were talking about him a lot. Hey, man, they're ready to rock and roll. I think that 23 class, you've got a couple of guys that are ready to rock and roll too. And the guys that they got in the portal, the last guy you got from Stanford, he had a pretty damn good rookie year at in the NFL this past season, right? So, you know, you got to, and then the Simmons kid, he was one of the top ranked guys there. I think it was what we saw last year was the one thing you couldn't have happen because of what had happened the last year that Lincoln was here. They got what, one freaking offensive line, or was it 5 offensive linemen in the last 2 years that he was there?
It was the first years of NIL. They decided, you know, they didn't want to play that game. They didn't want to have that conversation. They wanted to lean 100% on the track record of Bill Bedenbaugh, and it's a new conversation. It's a new year,
Correct.
and I think that you could
But
play.
it caught up to them at the end of it, right?
You can play conservative. I mean, we could have played conservative at that point and gotten away with a lot of stuff, but to just not participate in NIL at all, that was a big situation, and we lost out. And you know, the year before the Fojay year, you know, that year was one that just was not a super strong year. And I think that we made out like bandits with who we did pull in, with the Akinkumis and the Autries and the EPLs and the Iasosa and the BJ Brooks. Like, I think that we really got bodies in there. Now we need those bodies to turn. And this year is going to go into you look like the big question marks last year were, all right, well, the offensive line. Like, we were going to go as far as the offensive line was going to take us. Well, if you just had the offensive line woes, but you had capable quarterbacking, you know, you still have a better record. You know, the wide receivers last year was supposed to be a strength. Well, you take away the strength of your team completely. That's going to be a situation, and you're putting bad offensive line, bad run blocking, bad tight end play, bad receiver play, and all these injuries on a quarterback who seems to just not be that guy, you know. And I saw somebody put in here a few minutes ago is, you know, Jackson Arnold freaked a lot of people out about the quarterback situation here.
No doubt.
And I want to once again say that I think that Jackson Arnold is an exception. You know, now you're seeing these guys are going after like John Mateer in the portal.
They don't all work out.
John Mateer isn't just here because his OC is here. John Mateer was the most highly sought after quarterback in the transfer portal. I promise you that most of these programs would rather have him over Carson Beck. Because number one, he's younger. Number two, he's shown that he can put up the big numbers. Carson Beck had the world in front of him, and he couldn't do it this year without.
He needs weapons. Beck needs weapons. You know what I mean? He needs dudes.
He needed Brock Bowers back, because once Brock Bowers got hurt, it looked like Landry Jones when Broyles went out. It's completely different.
Yeah, when you were depending on, you know,
McConkey, Bowers.
Yeah, you were.
He had dudes.
You were depending on Blake Bell at that moment, you know, to be your pass catching guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then he ended up having to come in at one point.
I want to answer that question from Daniel Tolson. If Hawkins is the dude, when will he start? I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility that he starts sometime in 2025. I'm not even going to lie to you. I think there's a real case where that can happen. It may be unpopular. Yeah. It may be an unpopular opinion. But man, there's a little adjustment in the SEC, man. You know what I mean?
Is, but I don't even know that. I hope that it's not because of bad play or something. I look at it more as a situation that it doesn't concern me a whole lot if Mateer were to get banged up or something and has to miss some games. I feel like you've got a guy in Hawkins that can come in, win games for you, and maybe take over for however long he has to, and you still don't have a big, because I think that he will develop. And this isn't the hardest offense in the world to pick up. It isn't, you know, even though that they're multi in what they do, but their base concepts are going to be similar to everybody else who runs the damn air raid. That's their base concepts. Most Oklahoma kids have known this for 20 years. It's not that damn different. So, and it's the offense that has been all over every high school in the country too. So I would tell you that I don't think I get what people are saying about Mateer being, He's had 2 years in the offense, and all that kind of stuff, and, he's got he's got the experience and all that stuff, and he had a hell of a year last year. In the end,
Yeah.
you can't forget the skill set that Michael Hawkins has,
Yeah.
And I think I think also Buckle made it pretty damn clear that he thought that Hawkins was damn good, and what he'd already worked with him, before. And look at the way he played in the ball game. It wasn't because of him they lost.
Yeah. Oh, Arbuckle had a front row seat to that. I mean, if them
He
cats
sure
catch
shit did.
balls, is supposed to Mike Hawkins throw for like 500 yards, dude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If we bring those down, like that dude's had a hell of a day. And if we don't get a holding call on a 60-some yard touchdown run, like, man, Mike Hawkins, like, they might be thinking about going to the portal and looking at somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you never know.
Well, here's the thing: is like, why won't they pay 2 guys in the 26 class? Well, they're already paying 2 guys. A lot of they didn't get off cheap with Michael Hawkins. They knew they weren't going to, and they couldn't afford to lose him, so they had to pay him too. And then what did they pay? I mean, we've heard upwards of $3 million for Mateer. So
Wow.
and we don't have to. I don't know exactly what the number is, but I've heard that that's what it is. So who's to say? I mean, it's probably not that far off of it, whatever it is.
It's crazy.
Hell, we heard Jackson Arnold got $2.5 million to go to after the shitty year he had.
Yeah.
Hey, Auburn need a GM immediately.
Well, I mean,
they need a GM. Good Lord.
Yeah. Anyway, I would just say that to me, I think that right now, if Mateer, maybe Mateer is a better quarterback right now. Maybe he's not. I mean, we'll just kind of wait and see how it goes. But we know that this guy is good. I think that Mateer is good. I'm not saying any of that stuff. And I do think overall, I think it's going to take an injury or they're not playing very well. Something's going on and you got to make a switch. If that's the case, then that's not this we're not having the season that we were expecting anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna reserve my judgment on Mateer. I'm not falling for it like I did last year. All right, I was new here. All right, I'm not falling for that. So I'm gonna wait and see how it goes, man. Like I'm not getting sprung on a quarterback, man. Or you know what I mean. I'm not doing it.
True. No, and I mean, well, and it's just the nature of college football. It's the nature of football. Period. This is how it is.
Yeah.
And what are we talking about with all the
Dude,
screw the Twins? Fuck off.
Y'all better watch your mouth.
Knock it off. Price of brick is going up. Price of brick is going up. It's business now. The money's involved. Everything's changed. Yeah, but you can't afford to pay all quarterbacks either. You can't have 4 of them that you're paying top dollar to, because you got to have quarterbacks. There's other dudes that you got to have too. I would tell you that it's just as important to have that defensive line that we have.
Yeah.
And they cost money.
and the gains this year on that defensive line are silly. Like David Stone is up, nearly 30 pounds. PJ looks different. He looks super thick. Okoye looks bigger. Nigel looks bigger. Every single one of these guys, they've taken it to the different, to the next level. So I just say this way is I do buy into Mateer.
I think he's good. I think he's good. What I've seen of his film, I love that he gets the ball out as quick as he does, and he's not afraid of shit.
Well, and the thing that he has a plan. He has an idea of what he's doing, and that's one thing that I think Jackson Arnold did not have. Is if Jackson Arnold didn't see something super clearly, it just wasn't going to happen. And so a lot of the stuff I've heard already at this point is,
He
he's willing to
panicked.
go downfield and get the ball downfield. But then if that read's not there, the check down is Mateer's already incorporating that, and he's already running that, and he's getting in people's, backside and saying like, listen, you did this wrong. We need to do this way. And so he
Mhm.
is a coach and leader on the
He's a
field.
leader.
Whereas
Yeah.
Jackson was the young pup, and maybe there was a little bit of intimidation of being handed the keys to the kingdom. And you have all these high end receivers at the beginning of the year. Well, then when all that stuff goes to hell, and all of a sudden we need you to be the man, then all of a sudden you've got a situation where you're running a replacements type of a team out there, to where you're running a bunch of guys who weren't supposed to commit or contribute or to be parts of the offense. People moving around every single week. There's a different setup and configuration of people, and so. But I will say this having Michael Hawkins as your backup quarterback is not a luxury that a lot of other teams have.
They wish they did. Hell yeah. You wish you do. And because if you're, even thinking hell at Auburn, I don't know that Jackson ends up starting there. Is Deuce Knight that good? We keep hearing that he is.
There's already articles coming out, and I think it's just the marketing algorithms for me. But I've already seen a couple stories where people saying like, "Listen, he's got a short leash because there's people behind him, and if what they pulled looks a lot like what he did last year, then yeah, Deuce is going to have it." And I think they also got quarterback out of Cal or Stanford or something like that too. So who somebody is going to be out there, and it 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 also is going to look really, really bad if Jackson comes in and struggles, and Mateer comes in here and plays really well, because that's going to be a further indictment on Jackson Arnold, and he might be in the portal again next year. And I promise you that the $1 million marks on those NIL pieces, if he fails at Auburn, those are gone.
Yep.
He's going to be going
all over with after that.
He's going to be going somewhere like hell, I used to say Texas Tech, but it might be a Baylor. It might be a Houston type of a situation for his next stop.
Yeah, it could be even out of the Power Four at all. You know what I mean? I could see him. Listen, when you get two opportunities with, obviously the situation wasn't great for him, and it's easy to pile onto Jackson here, but to me, he's a panic guy. That was his biggest issue. But the other part is that their line wasn't very good, and they had their top 6 receivers out too. So that's part of it. But I've said it a few times that didn't freak out Michael Hawkins, the true freshman. You know what I mean? So
Michael Hawkins could bail himself out of that, right? Mike can make shit happen. He'll make a dude miss. Where like
I'm saying, his skill set is
in the pocket. Jackson wasn't really making many miss. You know what I mean? Mike ain't tripping. You see what he did to that Tennessee DN that just ran a 4.4 something at the combine. He made him miss multiple times.
Yeah, James Pierce.
Yeah, he made him miss multiple times. But yeah, man. I was actually, somebody said something about Teddy and Gabe having a man crush on Mateer already. I was actually kind of shocked at that already.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, wow, damn, already? I was like, so, they almost got me. They almost got me to dive in. But I had,
and that was
I trust those two. I trust those two in their judgment. They're usually pretty spot on.
They're spot on, dude. They're money.
Well, I think they see players, and I think that they see the trajectory laid out in front of them. But you also got to think Teddy only knows how to work hard. Gabe is still, hitting the gym every single day. These guys, all they know, it was a situation where why is Larry Bird and Michael Jordan not great basketball coaches? Because they're so damn talented and such hard workers that when you're not that, it's hard for that.
They don't understand it. Yeah.
They can't understand Kobe. Yeah. If Kobe would have ever been
Larry was a better coach than Michael would have ever been, for sure.
Well, yeah, but I also think Larry had himself, one of those teams that whoever the coach was going to be pretty successful. Reggie Miller out there when he was at the Pacers.
They had a nice team at Indiana for sure.
I digress, but like It is. I think that they see those players and they see what's going on with Giovanni Gibson. He looks like a freak. Now, look like
Shout
Tarzan,
out to
play like
Marcus
Jane.
Dent.
Yeah, looks like Tarzan, play like Jane situation though. We got to see it on the field, and that's where I think that if you're a Sooner fan and after last year, if you're like, listen, I love all the hype. I've led it on our show. I said, listen, I'm not doing it this year. I'm not getting ahead. I'm not taking shots at what everybody else is going to do. I'm focused on reporting what I'm reporting. Whoever is the hot shot spring guy that looks phenomenal, I'm not going to buy into it. Like it is a show me state season for us. You got to show me. Like we got to see it here, and it's going to be. And listen, guys, don't get too excited about the Michigan game. Michigan lost 3 first-round defenders, and their offense was as bad as ours last year. So if Mateer comes out and looks okay, we should win that game going away, because I don't think that their offense is going to be able to stand up to our defense at all. So I still think it's going to be, what does it look like against Auburn? Do you see more consistency in the offensive output against Auburn? That's where I'm waiting to see is, because let's be honest, like how many games we should have probably lost the Houston game because our offense couldn't do anything with any consistency. We probably should have lost that Auburn game because our offense couldn't do anything with consistency. It took 2 massive plays that Auburn just is good at giving up. And Jay mentioned it when he was at the game. He said the moment that they threw that bomb to J.J. Hester, we're still down by another touchdown, with not a lot of time to go. And the Auburn fans were like, well, you guys are winning this game. Like they were that jaded against their own team because they knew that Auburn just found ways to lose when they should not lose, which is what they did in that game. So let's wait for Auburn. Let's wait to see some consistency. I think by the Auburn game, you'll be able to say, okay, this is what this thing is. And then you can say, is it going to have an upwards trajectory or is it going to be, a struggle every single week? I don't personally think that it's going to be a struggle because, I say it all the time. When you're so ingratiated with, mediocrity and failure on the offensive side, any type of competency is going to look like, the greatest show on turf. And so let's watch what happens, week after week.
Yeah.
And also Teddy being a big defensive guy, he was out there reporting on the scrimmages. You often don't hear Teddy that glowing about the offense.
And ever. Never. You don't hear him do that about defensive players usually. Aside from what he said about Boganowski last year. I mean, I don't generally hear him doing stuff like that.
But that's a defender. That's a defender.
Even with defensive guys, though, he doesn't do a ton of that shit, though.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, Gabe was the one who had the crush on Okoye last year, which is still some of my favorite conversations between Danny and Gabe and I. Like, it's just the amount of man crush they had on them. But if you were an OU fan, you're like, listen, I am not going to believe anything until I see us do it on the field. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And listen, man, and like, I'm having the same, like, I'm not just saying that just because, like, I'm taking the same approach with my son. You know what I mean? Like,
sure, I know you are.
It's the same. Like, dude, you got a ball. You got to show it. Like, you can't just like
saying it was cool, but you got to go now. You got to go out there and show it.
I don't even know if he sees that shit, to be honest with you. Like, what people say or whatever. Like, I don't know how much he pays attention to, but like, end of the day, dude, like that shit don't matter. Like, you can say he's the next coming of Rod Woodson or something like that. I don't give a goddamn. Like, you got to go out on the field and play, and be because it's been he's got to be himself and go play ball, and it's a different level from high school to college, and there's 100% adjustment, man, and that kind of leads into my quarterback issues. Like, there's not a lot of time for these quarterbacks to adjust and develop, man. Some of these cats are getting thrown right in the fire. But, with my son, like, he's been getting the comparisons ever since, it started when he was young, man. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I've always, the comparison thing kind of like, I don't know if I don't like it. You know what I mean? I
No,
really,
it's
but I get it.
the thief of joy, man. The comparison is the thief of
Yeah,
joy.
yep. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But like, I don't know, especially, kids these days, like with social media and how it piles on and it gets their head gone and they start hearing it, then they start thinking it. You know what I mean? Like, it was different back in my day, right? When somebody gave you a comp because it was in person. You know what I mean? Most of the time it was that somebody said it to you and it didn't like spread like wildfire. You know what I mean? Like when I can't remember, there's a reporter here in Kansas that compared him to Isaiah Simmons, one year on Twitter,
Yeah.
and it blew up, and I was like, oh God,
I
here we
saw
go.
that. I saw that. Yeah,
Like,
I've
here we
seen it.
go. You know what I mean? Like, Isaiah Simmons was a hell of a
Well, it took
hell of
Isaiah Simmons 3 years before he
but
really.
they're two different players, man. You watch
Yeah.
Isaiah Simmons highlight tape, dude. He was an offensive dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He
He
was
was he was
predominantly
Jaron,
offense.
he was Jaron Kanek. Like
Yeah,
that was
predominantly offense. Mike has been a head buster, man, ever since. Now he played some offense and was good at it. Probably didn't play enough in high school, but Mike can run that thing now.
Bro, for sure.
Hey Jason, I got to bounce out of
I knew
here.
you were about to have to split, brother, man.
But no, I mean, listen, this is talk season.
Talk
You're
list
probably
season.
Yeah, talk season, list season. Don't fall for the on three bait. Everybody in here, don't care. They literally they put stuff out for engagement, and the best way to get engagement is to go say something silly about OU or say something positive about Texas that's undeserved, and and so just don't fall into that. Don't click on it. Don't share it. If you ignore it, they'll wrangle some other fan base. But I know that's not going to happen. I know our people are going to lose their mind when they show. What is it? John Mateer's probably going to be the going into the season, probably going to be in the 3 to 5 range as far as the incumbent quarterbacks coming into the SEC. He's the third highest Heisman ratings, but again, so was Jackson Arnold. Whoever is playing quarterback at OU is always going to be there, and that's what I would say to Jaden O'Neal and Bowe Bentley and any of these other, Peyton Houston, any of these other quarterbacks that are up next, is know that when you come in here, it's not just about all the fame and glory. It's about the responsibility and the expectations too,
Hey,
because you
man.
don't show up to this university
QBU, man.
and
QBU.
it is. And then you know what? It also doesn't. It also doesn't hurt that you've got Baker out there continuing to do what he's doing. Jalen just won the Super Bowl. Kyler is continuing to always be Kyler, and so you're going to see more of these quarterbacks. Now, I will say this: there's a lot of negotiation going on, and we're just a few months away from the rev share, and it's going to be one step forward, 2 steps back type of a situation, because
Yeah.
then you need to know how to handle all those things, and that's why you have Jim Nagy here. So,
Thank
um,
God for that too, man. Thank God for that too. I think as much as we are concerned about a lot of this stuff, I think that the moves that they made, I think it's so underrated, the Kevin Wilson move. Um,
yeah,
these two amazing defensive coordinator types that they got as your linebacker coaches. You know what I mean? They made big splash hires and of course Arbuckle and bringing in Mateer. I don't think that you and all that happened before Nagy. So when you look at all of those things together, I mean, how you can stay negative about all of this shit that's going on at Oklahoma is beyond me at this point. Because even if, we know it was a shit show last year, we know exactly what happened. But if you think that this is the direction that they're going to continue going in, then you're not paying attention. Period.
yeah. And again, don't forget this is Ben Arbuckle went out to get a fourth quarterback. His reputation is why Bowe Bentley is willing to have this conversation, because what he's done with Bailey Zappi and what he did with Cam Ward and what he's done so far with Mateer, like you got to think like that's a credit to Arbuckle is he's able to go out and
Yeah.
say, hey, listen, I've got a potential 5-star quarterback, already in tow. I want to have a conversation with you, one of the fastest risers in the state and in the country, and I want to have a conversation about you also coming on board. And if Ben Arbuckle didn't have that reputation, we're probably talking to some 3-star who's currently committed to UCF or OSU or something like that. And so I mean, just know that like this Bentley situation, the silver lining of it is that's who Ben Arbuckle is, and that's what people think of him. So be
Yeah, no
excited
doubt.
about that.
Absolutely. Because, if you think about what Bears Salee said last year was, they're going to stop getting those good quarterbacks to come to Norman.
Yes, we are. No, never again. Never again.
Never
No
going to
good.
happen again. They're going to have to, live in the portal and go get guys like Dylan Gabriel, which Dylan Gabriel's, he had a hell of a career. But, in the end, I think that, yeah.
Coop, I got a question for you before you get out of here.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in attendance at the Crimson Combine?
Yeah. I'll be there. I'm trying to have a conversation with our athletic director about giving Jay and I a little spot to maybe do a show or maybe go do it. I know that Michael Patterson's pops has offered his position before too, or his restaurant, and so we'll be there one way.
Spot, dude.
Yeah,
Sooner Daiquiris,
we'll
go.
Yeah, yeah. No, but we'll be there one way or the other.
All right, yeah, that's what's up.
Awesome. Oh yeah, I'll be there too, man. Got to be there for this one. I actually have to ask you about something whenever we get done here. I'll shoot you a text here in a little bit, Coop. Appreciate you coming in, my guy.
I'm gonna bounce.
Good to see you, brother.
My man. All right, man. Appreciate it. Coop from Unfair Sports. Appreciate his coming in. And I figured, he's had Jaden O'Neal on the show, and they've talked to him quite a bit. And so I knew that they'd probably talked to him already. So I'm glad that he was able to pop in, talk to us a little bit about it, and let us hear what he had to say about it. In the end, I mean, look, this is the nature of recruiting anyway. Nothing is sure until they're signed in house. Really, even until they're in house at this point.
Yeah.
So the expectations. I mean, I think what we were talking about on Friday, I would still stick to that. That I think that you probably want to stick to the guy that is being loyal as he has been for a year. And he is that dude. I mean, Noid was in there saying earlier, acting like, he didn't play very well this year. That's not the case. They didn't have a ton of games on his team that he was with.
They canceled all.
Yeah, they canceled a lot of those games. But I'll tell you this, when he played very good. It's not like he got worse. He had 7 touchdowns in that championship game. They put up 70 points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like, and again, he didn't get smaller. His arm didn't get shitty. It wasn't an injury situation or anything like that you have to worry about. I think that overall, he's still going to be a very good player. What you're seeing is that now you're looking at a situation where, this kid just went undefeated in Texas. Everybody's talking about him throughout the country. If he's more of the Mateer type of player, and I guess if you watch some of his film, which we can throw it up there, he definitely looks good. He definitely looked really good. So I wouldn't sit here and say that I don't think that he's that guy. I think that he is. But in the end, my only question is kind of what Chris Mason was saying, is we probably need to get this done sooner than later, because these quarterbacks seem to be a big piece of the recruiting puzzle a lot of times,
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean get done? Like get Bowe Bentley committed, or
get whoever it is committed? I mean, well, you already had Jaden committed. If you're going to get Bentley and you're going to have to lose Jaden, then you probably need to do that sooner than later, right?
Yeah. Well, quarterbacks are usually the first ones to settle themselves, because those spots are limited, as compared to other positions. It's usually quarterbacks, receivers type stuff, and then you see other running backs, dominoes, and D linemen. Those important tackle But yeah, I imagine it's probably. I wouldn't be surprised if if the decision was already made somehow, somewhere behind the scenes. We just don't know about it yet. I wouldn't.
OU
Wouldn't be
fans
surprised.
losing our edge. We used to feel like nothing could stop us, but now as a fan base, so unsure the team is of the team, that's whack. I would still tell you that this is a small portion of that fan base. They're just the loud assholes, is what it is. The assholes are always the loudest ones, but it is a small portion. I think most people can look at this thing and realize that not every year is going to be perfect. And I'll still tell you this: the 6 and 7 season that he had the first year, if you don't remember what they had on that roster, it's nothing like what they had on the roster now. It's nothing like what they would have had in-house last year either. You can blame last year on Brent if you want to. I think that you're missing out on context. I really do. But you can blame it on whoever you want to. And that's all well and good. But in the end, the blame game doesn't really help you anyway. I mean, why not just go ahead and say, look, we're hoping that we get better out of them this year. They've got talent. We know that everywhere they have talent. Can you think of a position that they're not stupid talented in? Even if we talk about the tight end position, bro.
Yeah.
Devon Mitchell was a 5-star until he reclassified. He was the number 1 player coming out of California.
Yeah.
He was lighting it up at Allen with Michael Hawkins the year before when they were juniors. Or he was a sophomore. That guy is a stud, straight up. And if you look at Canick, and we talked about, I'm glad you're back in here because I wanted to talk a little bit more about what we're hearing about our guy, man. The tight end room doesn't look bad right now. Apparently the transfer guys are looking good too, but you start looking at guys that Caden Helms finally he looked normal, like he's back to
He
health.
didn't look normal. He didn't look normal. He looked great.
He looked abnormal. He looked great. He didn't look like he was limping around or that he was unsure of anything, though. Yeah,
he looked explosive.
Yeah, that's what
I'm pumped about that. Yeah, super pumped about how the way Caden Helms looked in those videos, man. I'm praying for him, and
yeah,
he could be a big weapon.
I think he could too, and I think that if anybody deserves to have some good luck with their health, it's him, right? He's one of those guys that deserves a little bit of luck with his health, and to tear your ACL 2 years in a row, it is what it is. It sucks. And then last year, I could see that to where you would be a little ginger on it after 2 years in a row, little worried about making a cut a certain way.
It takes time to get your twitch and your muscles back to a level that they were before you got hurt, man. And there's probably a 10, 15 pound of muscle that's been added in that time. He's just been working out. You know what I mean? So it takes time, man. But man, when I saw that little clip of the first practice and I saw him run that route, come out of that break, and I was like, "Man, was that him?" I rewound it. Sure was.
Crisp route. Nice route he ran. Yeah, he was catching everything. He looks good, man, from what I've seen.
T-birds, baby. T-birds. T-birds.
He went to the same high school as you, huh?
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah.
And he deserves it. He deserves it, man. He really does. And, he's because I would say that, as much as people have said a lot about stuff about Nick Anderson, but him and Nick Anderson's podcast, they were big. I would tell you that they have been ambassadors for the University of Oklahoma by doing that and letting you in to a little bit of their life as a football player. They were always taking on the shit show that some of the stuff that was being said about them in the national media, some of the stuff that's been said about Oklahoma by fans even. I think they've been big ambassadors for the team. I think everybody there's certain people that get a little pissy about everything last year, and we've heard some things about some of the receivers may have been dogging it a little bit. I don't think Nick was one of them. He tore his damn quad. You know what I mean? But that being said, I get it. It's easy to get turned in that direction whenever things are not going as well as you think it is. But now that you're hearing, hey, man, maybe that's what you needed, a reboot in there.
Yeah.
Because Giovanni, and apparently you're having Burks is in a boot or something right now from what Jay and them were saying on Locked On.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. But, hey, I would tell you that means you've got some other guys that they're going to get their opportunities. Zion Kearney. I would look at him. I would look at Ivan Carrion. Some of these guys that go ahead and step it up, fellas. It's your, when you get your opportunity, you have to make good on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, man. Like and those, the two big things that people talked about was Burks and Eli. Those are just those ain't major, right? So Burks was out there doing individual drills and stuff like that. And then, when he got done, they put that boot on for precautionary, right? So
Sure.
it helps you. It takes the pressure and the weight off your foot and keeps you from flexing and moving your ankle. So you just,
So you can fix it. Yeah.
so it heals. But yeah, man, listen, our receiver room, like, I don't know. That's the least of my worries, in my opinion.
I think they addressed it, right?
Yeah.
They addressed
Yeah.
what needed to happen. I mean, you're
Yeah.
hoping. My thing was, I'm glad to hear that at least. I mean, we haven't heard anything definitive, but
Yeah.
I hope that what Brent said about Jaden Gibson, that it's just a minor setback. I hope that's a fact, because it's another guy that, man, he was getting ready to like go ham on the SEC. You know what I'm saying? And for him to lose the season last year. And turns out maybe that was that if you were going to lose one, it would have been last year anyway, because everybody else did too. But I'd love to see him get back in here and have an opportunity to go out there because, man, to have he had 5 touchdowns on 13 catches the year before that.
He's a big kid, man.
Exploded.
He's a big, long kid, man. He contested catches. He's really good at. Yeah, it'd only be a blessing to get him back, man. It'd only be a blessing to get him back, man. Just add more weaponry, and but we gotta get those weapons the ball. And I don't get me wrong, I think Mateer can do that. I think Arbuckle's a good enough offensive coordinator that he'll do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the receiver room is like the least of my worries. There's some I think what's going on in the tight end room needs to be addressed. For obvious reasons. I think we fumbled Bauer Sharp last year. I think Bauer Sharp, we asked him to do too much, and out of his skill set. Now he can catch the ball and run, so I mean that's what we should have him do. We should have him run routes, getting over the middle. But he's gone, and we got to find somebody that's willing to do that. We got to find somebody that can control the middle of the field, catch some contested balls, and if anything, be a possession tight end. You know what I mean? We don't need like some home run threat at tight end. We need somebody that can get us a third down and third and long over the middle in between those two hook linebackers and move the sticks. And got to have a quarterback that's willing to throw it. So
Yeah. I was
think
just fixing to say, Daniel Tulsa saying, I feel like some of the pessimism of fans is the preseason pump from all these shows. I fell for it so many times. Well, I don't know that. I think that if you look at last year, they won 6 games. JA kind of threw away 2 of them easy. And really 3. I mean, the Ole Miss game is kind of what it was, but they had chances to win at least 3 more games, if not 4. So really, if you look at being excited about last season, and I know that we were talking about real things. I'm talking about real things again. I was on a show yesterday. I popped in and was talking to them, and there's nobody outside of Oklahoma that believes that Oklahoma can make a move this year. There's not. It's going to be great if they do, because I'll tell you, they're not paying it. They thought it was that I was speaking Greek when I said I think we have the best defensive line in the country. And I do believe that we have the best defensive line in the country.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, I think it's understandable, right? I mean, I don't pay attention to what other SEC teams are doing, like what Oklahoma, like I do Oklahoma, right? So if if
Some of
a
these
Florida
dudes,
fan was if a Florida fan was to tell me I think we got the best linebackers in the nation, I'd be like, okay, like I don't know who your linebackers are. You know what I mean? Like
well, they
stuff like
do
that.
right, and I would say that I've paid enough attention to all of them. I think,
Yeah,
I try to because of this show,
yeah,
obviously, but also
yeah,
because I love the game. I pay attention to a lot of teams, but I would say that, sure, do I know as many teams as well as I know Oklahoma? No, of course not.
yeah.
But I would tell you, like, I think the biggest reason that Florida rebounded to 8-5 last year wasn't really Lagway. It was that defense. When they flipped to the other defensive coordinator who's been really good doing that his whole career, that's when things kind of really changed for them. But I don't know, man. It is what it is. But I would tell you that they would have won more games either way. And the bottom line is all of that shit going as bad as it did is what it took for it to get to 6-7. I have a hard time believing that it could be worse this year.
Yeah. No,
That's why I told you
it
guys I
happened.
don't think that they're firing Brent Venables because I don't see it being worse than it was this year.
Yeah, shit would have to go like way bad, like
Oh, dude, yeah.
way
And
bad.
like,
And I don't see it getting as bad as it did last year.
no.
You know,
I understand people being a little freaked out, but
yeah,
it's
I
just
do. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it, man. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I feel like we've addressed the needs and issues.
yes.
Maybe all except the tight end. But we picked up
I don't
some
know.
dudes. We got to see how that happens, right? We got to see how that plays out. But I mean, we went and got a tackle or two.
Yeah.
Hopefully those dudes pan out, and I think we addressed our deficiencies, especially on the offensive end,
I think
and just keep
what would be
stacking
your
up pieces.
biggest question that you have going into the season? What is your biggest question for Oklahoma? What do
Offensive
you
line.
think has to be O-line?
Yeah, oh for sure. I think
Yeah.
it's easy. I don't even think it's a debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
And I
like,
would
there's
tell you
just
that I'm not all that worried about the O-line because I think that there's plenty of talent and we have the best O-line coach in the country.
right. No, 100%. But like, it, we don't know. We don't know. That's why it's a question. We
There's
don't know.
still
Like
there's still a lot
the
of guys that
talent
don't
is
have a
there.
ton of experience
Yeah,
that
we just don't know.
sure.
And that's why I say that because I mean, I I don't think we have that other influence on who needs to be playing at on the offensive line like we had. Uh, I think that I just think we got some athletes and we got some big mean dudes, and hopefully the best players start and the best players play. Um,
Mhm.
and that's what I want to see, and I hope that is still alive in college football. And how much a player's getting how much a player's getting paid, and how many stars he has. You know that factors into who plays. Sometimes, and I hope that doesn't ruin college football and maybe infiltrate what's going on in our favorite program, Oklahoma. You know what I mean? Like I still want the best players to play, you know, even if it's a 3-star who's making 50,000 a year and the guy in front of him's a 5-star making 200. You know what I mean? Like I would still hope that is a thing.
Mhm.
And who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. I've heard as high as 3.7, but it wouldn't
Holy
surprise me if it was
shit.
2.7.
I don't know about 3.7, dude. That's
I've heard
crazy.
that though. I have heard that multiple places, but I've also heard 2.7 too.
That's not really I don't think that's in Oklahoma's well, maybe things have changed, man. Like I
Well,
know
here's the thing. Here's
why
the
they
reason
want
that
to
I
do
would
that.
say that it could have happened because look how hot and heavy Miami was after him, and they drove the price up.
Yeah, but they didn't have his old coordinator and
That's
and,
true.
and quarterback coach. So there was no need for Oklahoma to open up a blank check. You know what I mean?
But the guy that he played behind the year before was in New York for the Heisman too.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I would say that I would say that uh,
If
it's
you were
high.
Mateer,
It's high enough. It's high
if
enough.
you were Mateer, all right, and your quarterback coach and your offensive coordinator has already went to Oklahoma. Hold on, listen now. And let's say Miami was at 3.5. Hey, we want you for 3.5. and Oklahoma said, we're in at 2.75. What are you doing?
I mean, it just depends. I guess it depends. I'm just saying there's
Oh, what would you? I want to
my
know.
guess is that, yeah, I would probably, if you like the situation, I mean, yeah, it depends on who you are, I guess. But I would, I mean, it's hard for me to not answer Oklahoma because I'm an Oklahoma guy. But I would tell you that that's $750,000 more dollars. That's a lot of money, bro.
Yeah, oh, I know. So you're saying you'd go with the Miami offer?
I don't know that I would. I would probably want them to try to match it.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. So Oklahoma's at
Maybe if they
2.75.
bump it up a little
Yeah.
more, if they get to 3, then I'm probably good or whatever. But I don't know. I think it depends on what. I think there's other reasons that other than money, that he was looking at Miami. Is the point I was trying to make.
Bro,
I don't think it was just the money.
you have given me everything but an answer. What would Jason Watkins do? What would you do?
Now I'm an Oklahoma guy. I would go to Oklahoma. So
Okay, you're not an Oklahoma guy. You're not an Oklahoma guy.
I would want them to match. I would want them to match.
Yeah, okay, they're not matching. So you'd go to Miami.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I think it's also an easier situation for him if you go to Miami too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But you know what I think is I think sometimes, people are short-sighted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where am I setting myself up, with the comfortability of the system that I have to have the best year, to possibly win a championship or a Heisman and be a high draft. And
I think it's
really,
probably easier to
is
win the
that
Heisman at Miami too. That's the thing.
yeah, but yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not, but what I'm saying is like setting the conditions to go to the league to make real money. Like, you know what I mean? That's $750, and it may not be the $750,000, and it may not be the best situation. To me, is like that's a game check for a lot of cats. You know what I mean, in the league. So I just I don't know. That's why I had to ask that question, man, because I like to see people's perspective on it. And me, if I was in the same situation, if I presented myself with that same situation with my offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in University of Oklahoma as compared to Miami and probably something different,
I think it would be a tough decision to make. I
I'm
would tell
going to
you that.
Oklahoma, man. I'm going to Oklahoma for
You don't
2.
know for sure that you're going to
No,
Oklahoma because you
I
would.
would.
If here's the other thing about it, the no state tax thing, it would matter in that situation too.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So
But
I mean,
again,
not only are they paying you $800,000 more, they're also you're not going to lose 40% of that shit.
yeah. But again, I'm betting on myself
I get it.
to get to the league.
I think the coach situation is the reason that it would be tough to make that decision. I don't know what decision for sure I would make. I don't. I think it would be one of those decisions that you got to think about it. It's a tough decision, and I think he did have to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt he didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to think about it when there's that much money involved.
Shit,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit, that's more money than he's ever seen in his life. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, dude, yeah. And he's a pretty simple cat, but which I think was another thing that, what's the difference in $750,000? What is the difference though, really? When we get to that point, probably taxes. You know what I mean? It's what is the best situation? And I think that, he's got a good family. He's got a good situation where, that he's happy with what he's doing. And also I would guess that they were also wanting to see, he was probably also wanting to see who else you going to bring in here. I got to see who the hell I'm going to be throwing to.
Yeah.
What about this offensive line? Are you investing in that too?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it all factored into it for sure. But yeah, I was thinking about that as you were talking about it. Like, what would I do? Like,
It'd
if
be
I
a
was
tough
in the
decision, I think. I think it would be a hard decision for you. And I mean, again, you're talking about a big time. Well, they haven't been big time in a long time, but they have the ability to become a powerhouse. I mean, you think about that the 1999, 2000 area of that Miami shit.
Yeah.
When I think of the best teams I've ever seen ever, it's generally Miami, LSU, and USC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
and like Texas that 1 year. I look at what Vince Young did that year as like the most prolific year I've ever seen a single guy go out and go do. You know what I mean? As far as carrying his team like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were loaded too, but that was all Vince in that Rose Bowl. What a freaking game, you know? And makes me sick to death to talk about that. So
and call your team trash. That's what they are, trash.
I was actually going for another button there, but I can't ever turn off my guy. Yeah, listen, I would think that in the end, here's what I think though. Overall, I have a hard time understanding why people think that it's so far-fetched that Oklahoma can turn it around. I get it that the schedule is quote-unquote brutal. It is. It's the toughest schedule in the country, I think. But I also look at it and say there's some gettable games in there.
Yeah.
I think that every game can be won. I don't think that they're going to win them all. I don't think anybody's going undefeated anymore. I think that's a thing of the past, especially in the SEC. I just don't see that happening. But I think you can beat every team on the schedule. I would tell you that they lost 4 defensive linemen at South Carolina. I didn't believe in them anyway. Now I really don't. I don't know what Tennessee is. I think they could be better and not be. I think Nico could be better and they're not as good. I really do. And they just added Seth Luttrell to the mix. It could get real fucked up. Ole Miss, you have to expect that this quarterback is going to come in and play better than what you saw from Jackson Dart immediately. Same thing with Texas. Same thing with Georgia. Alabama, I mean, I think they have some experience, but I also think that Keelan Russell could be a day one starter. I think he's that good. And I think that they're loaded up everywhere. But again, and then LSU would be the one that really concerns you as far as, they've got a quarterback that probably could have, he was a first rounder. If he leaves, he's probably the first one off the board this year. And he stayed. So you got to give them credit there, except that BK doesn't win shit since he got there. He seems to blow those damn games. So I don't know, man. I think that Oklahoma, I'll tell you this, if they make it into I see them either making the playoff or just falling short of it, right? I think it's going to be one of the two. If they make it in, they're going to be battle tested as shit. Nobody's going to want to fucking play them after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that defense is going to be nasty. I feel like they're going to be one of the best defenses in the country all the way around. If you get them into the dance, they're going to be a tough out for everybody.
Yeah. Yep. I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree.
Looking at these schedule things, I was going to bring that up, but we could actually do it on Friday maybe. But I was looking at some of this other stuff too. Arizona State being the next Clemson. That's the goal, says Kenny Dillingham. Sorry, buddy. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's look at these. Hey, I wanted to show you these the coaching top 25.
List season, bro.
It's list season. So, yeah. And the reason I want to show this, though, is because it goes along with what I was fucking fixing to bring up, too. It's so sick, dude. Colin Cowherd's ass.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's do it.
Dude. So Colin Cowherd had Sark on he says, we have him about 5 times a year come on the show so I can glaze his ass. Fucking Colin, that's such a bitch, dude. He does just glaze that fucker. So they've got him. The Kirby stays at number 1. I get that. Ryan Day shoots up to number 2. And Dabo dropped one. Sark is now at number 4. I guess last year he had him at number 11. I've seen him in the top 5 already heading into last year. I still want to know what the fuck he's done. But whatever. Kalen DeBoer drops a little bit. Obviously, Marcus Freeman shot up the list from he wasn't ranked last year. Dan Lanning, he wasn't ranked last year.
Really?
Not on this. The Athletic didn't have him ranked.
Yeah.
I know On 3 and them had him way up there in the top 5, which
for sure.
I thought was insanity. I think that James Franklin, I guess he dropped one spot from last. I don't understand why everybody's so in love with James Franklin. I really don't. But whatever. Matt Campbell jumps way up there to number 9. Brian Kelly drops 4 places. Kleinman moves up 1. Whittingham, he dropped 4. Riley wasn't. He was number 9 last year. Lincoln was. So see, this is one of them. Actually, the one I was looking at earlier isn't even this one. So okay, this is Feldman's. Bruce Feldman's.
I was about to say, man, Cowherd he's team Lincoln Riley for sure.
No. This is from the Athletic. So this is what I was going to bring up about what was on Colin Cowherd. He was talking about Sark. He sucked him off for the entire interview, pretty much. And then at the end, before Sark said it, he says, "Hook 'em."
Yeah.
What a fucking chump.
Yeah.
How do you fucking how do you sleep at night, Colin?
Yeah,
I can't stand that motherfucker.
He's got one of the greatest Freudian slips I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, with Joy.
Oh yeah, dude, that I can't. Hey man, that was
big titties.
Instead of saying big titties, he said big titties. While she's sitting on the couch. Oh god,
she kind of chuckled at it. Was like
hilarious, bro. It's one of the funniest clips I've ever seen in my life.
It was fucking awesome. He's such a clown.
And the fact that you knew exactly what I was talking about.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Oh
yes.
gosh, that's hilarious.
Mandel had it different. This is obviously, we were just looking at Bruce Feldman. Mandel has Smart, Day, Sark, then DeBoer, then Lanning. He's got last year he had Lanning at 25th, but he's got Lanning at 5th.
Is this based off last year or is this overall tenure?
I think it's overall. Okay. Neither one of them obviously have BV in this. They had BV in one of the ones I saw last week, but I get why they don't. Sweeney's at 6, though. That's kind of crazy. He's been to 7 playoffs now. You know, Lance Leipold was at 2 last year on his. He dropped to 7.
Well, that's what makes me think it's a year by year thing, right? Like
it is. Well, I mean, where do you go in the ranking list? I mean, it is a year to year thing.
Yeah,
it is a year to year thing, and these guys all do it. Kurt Signetti, Brian Kelly. I mean, here I'll tell you what. For Friday, the reason I was bringing this up is for Friday. I want we should get everybody to give me your list. Give me your list of coaches.
Are the top coaches in the game?
Huh?
Top coaches in the game?
Yeah, top 25.
Top 25?
We could do the top 19 if you want to. I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
Top 10. I don't even know 25 coaches in college football.
Yes, you do. You guys got recruited by more coaches than that. Shut up. You know them. Come on, bro.
So are you active? Like you got to put some parameters on it, right? Like
active
careers or based off last year.
Where do you think they are from their whole career and including last year? I mean, who do you think is number 1 versus? And they got to be active coaches, yes, because I mean, obviously Nick Saban's number 1 on any list. Rhett Lashley, Willie Fritz, Jonathan Smith.
I put an asterisk by Saban.
Do you?
Yeah. Why? Because he was great when he was the only one paying people under the table. When everybody else started being able to pay, he said, I can't handle it. I'm out. I'm retired. So I put a little asterisk by there.
Yeah.
Good coach though, great coach. But let's put an asterisk by there.
Couldn't handle. Why again? Because he was able to cheat and get away with it or whatever.
Yeah. And then when it become a thing, he was like, I can't handle it. You seen all those rants. And he retired.
Oh. Yeah, listen, I think I think that he built himself into that guy that could control his entire situation at that point, right? So, but what I'll say about the reason that I give him the props for being the GOAT, and maybe he's not better than Bear Bryant, I don't know. But he evolved with the game. You wouldn't think he never wanted to go away from just being a heavy run team and doing what they do. He had to, and he did it. And the other thing is that he had to replace coaches over and over and over again, and he found a way to go get the best coaches he could. Reclamation projects, if you want to call them that, but it worked. The guy won big. To win 6 in 17 seasons, that's a shit ton. Shit ton.
Yeah, hey, thanks for that idea, Daniel Tulsa.
What did he say? Which one?
I'm going to have AI.
Have AI do it?
I'm going to have AI do it and see what it says.
Weak sauce, bro. Fucking weak
Really?
sauce. You could just, go and see what Colin Cowherd said. What's mine? Throw a bud in there. What's my no, I'm not talking about all-time list. I'm talking about current coaches. Barry, my list, Barry and Bob. I like it. It's good shit. Coordinator rankings. We could do coordinator rankings also. I think that one's actually a little more in depth. We should definitely do that. We'll do that in the next couple of weeks. I think that there's it's list season. Let's do it. Might as well. I got to come up with some fucking content. So here we go.
List season. Yep. Or we could just let people make lists and make fun of them. That's probably like the best content.
That's fun too. That's what I'm doing now. I don't know why Jonathan Smith is there at 24 anymore. He didn't really do anything the last couple of years as a coach. Michigan State wasn't good. Summerall, I think, is not ranked high enough. I think he's real good.
Yeah.
Lonnie Sataki, he moved up in this. I don't know, man. It's the thing is they got each one of their riders doing this, or at least two of them that I know of.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let me see where did they have Dillingham in this list? I didn't see him right up at the top, and he should be. I'm not seeing him yet on this one. They got Rich Rod at number 17 before they've got Dillingham. Are you shitting me? This one is Feldman. So Feldman, I don't even think he had Dillingham. Are you shitting me, bro? Oh, he's got to be in there somewhere. I just must have missed it. I think the way he flipped it around to have Mario Cristobal, oh my Lord. Wow.
ATP, like I totally, Saban said that, right? That's what I would say too. If like he wasn't the only game in town, paying players under the table anymore. Like, you just.
That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was. He had gotten so good at getting away with it.
Yeah,
he didn't want you just giving away what he had worked so hard to get good at cheating at.
Yeah.
I've said that forever. I agree with you. I agree. I'm not seeing Dillingham here. Did you guys?
He's not.
Just missing him. No, he's not in it.
Not in it.
What the hell? He wasn't even in the just missed. Oh, Bruce, that's awful. Tell me that the other clown didn't do with it. I'm not trying to help myself get a job anywhere, calling all these dudes clowns and shit.
When are we? Hey man, I'm waiting for you to drop this episode, bro.
Which one?
I'm waiting for the YouTube episode.
Of what? On talking shit about YouTube.
Yeah.
Did it still not pop up today either?
Not at all. I got the notifications, but like I don't see it. Like I got to go search for it.
Yeah, wow, they've got Kirk Ferentz in here and not Kenny Dillingham. Yeah, these are bad. This is bad rankings, bro. Bad rankings. Jamie Chadwell, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
God.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's not even in his just missed. Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lincoln didn't make his list, at least. Lincoln didn't make it. Yeah, USCJ, I've been trying to get him to come on all day. He didn't. He wouldn't. But he'll be here sooner or later. We're gonna get him in here because he keeps popping in talking some smack and acting like Lincoln is saving the day there and
yeah. So
at USC.
yeah.
When you hold on to that fucking recruiting class, I'll listen, and you better win because over the last 2 years, Brent's won more games in the last 2 years than you have. So go ahead.
Yeah. Where do you put Bill Belichick on there? Daniel Tulsa, you're on fire right now, bro.
It's a great question. That is a great question.
That is a good question. Because I mean,
the top programs. I don't know.
Does his NFL carry over, or is he starting from scratch?
Here's the thing. This is a really good question because I think you could go at it a number of different ways. We're going to an NFL model. That's why he's there. So who did it better? And he's got guys that know how to be GMs. I think one of them was his GM. I mean, they know how to work this stuff. And here's the thing. I did hear this from Nick Saban on the Pivot podcast. He was talking about they were talking about what Belichick had said about him, right? And he said, well, that's cool that he said that, but I learned so much from Bill that like their evaluation of players came directly from Bill Belichick. So where we're talking about this stuff with Jim Nagy and stuff like that, he's going to identify the guys based on what they are size-wise, speed-wise, that kind of stuff. And that's what it's going to be with them. So I don't know, man. I think that I don't until we see a season out of him, probably don't put him in the rankings. But I think he comes in as. Don't you expect Carolina to win this year?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be fucking terrible, but
I don't think they're winning the Natty. I'm saying I think that they win 8 games probably. I mean, they are in the ACC for fuck's sake.
I mean, I listen, man. I think you got to rank Bill Belichick somewhere in there.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, because you can't consider him like a first-time head coach.
But TP's putting in something here that he underplayed. I don't think he always underpaid players. He played the cap game very well. Right now, he had to play the cap game there. They're going to have a cap.
He could underplay.
It's not a real fucking cap, though, guys. It's not a real cap.
He could underpay because he had Brady. People wanted to come play with Brady.
Sure. Yeah, you had Brady and Brady. And look, Brady was taking deals to stay.
Yep.
Backloading it or front loading it
to get money to other players.
Yeah.
And load them up. But I think you have to rank Bill. He's just too good of a. I mean, and there was a little bit of an indictment.
If you're going to rank him as far as like who he is as a coach, who's he not better than?
Well, yeah, that's my point. That's where I was going. But there was a little bit of indictment on him once Brady left and how his team kind of tanked. And after everybody's saying it was most likely Brady.
I also think that a lot of that had to do with the fact that they got old there.
Yeah.
The team got old.
Yeah.
He tried to like put the Band-Aid on with Cam. That wasn't working because his arm was bum right then. And not to say that Cam couldn't still play today. At that time, he wasn't helping himself, right? Yeah. Mac Jones, come on, bro. Mac Jones ain't that fucking good.
Yeah, they struggled, man. They struggled.
And here's the other. What did we just say about Saban? The reason that I give him the nod is because of the fact that is because of the fact that he absolutely was able to continue getting coaches, and that wasn't something that Belichick had to keep on recycling coaches that left him and got fired, and they came back. Romeo Crennel and, you know, Josh. How many times did Josh leave? Freaking 3 times and came back?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's just I don't know, man. It feels like that. And, you know, we were expecting that was what was going to happen with, what's his name too? The guy that was the OC at Alabama a couple of years ago. And now he's the coach at Boston College.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've done it over and over and over again. And it's kind of what he's doing now. He brought his son along to be the DC, which works. He did really well at Washington last year. But like, yeah, I don't know. But I think that if you put Lincoln Riley on the list and Feldman had him on his list, which is crazy talk to me, he shouldn't be on there because he has shown
not
that
even top 25.
I don't think he is. I think if we're talking play callers, absolutely. I think he's still number 1. I think he's the number 1 play caller as far as offensively. That he is that dude. But you can't do what you did. I mean, to me, and this is me being douchey about it. I don't know. But he got a Ferrari that was working perfectly, couldn't win the Natty, and they got worse every year, man. They just did. And when he left, he took his Heisman quarterback with him. Another 5-star leaves. They end up losing over 40 players. Now they go win 11 games that first year. You know why? Because they didn't play Washington or Oregon. And they couldn't play, you know, hell, Oregon State almost got them. And they weren't that good that year. They didn't have a dude that could throw, and they almost got their ass. It could have very easily, they were going to have that 6 and 7 year sooner or later anyway, if Lincoln stayed.
Yeah.
He's proven that he doesn't really know how to build this thing out. Now, he's got some good coaches that I think that's Jen Cohen that did that. She went and got some good defensive coaches because clearly he didn't see what he needed to get. USCJ, man. See, now he's sending me a text message here. Just woke up.
I'm going to go back to Bill. I'm about to go back to Bill Belichick. He's top 25 just on the fact he's dating.
I think he's top 10 just on the fact that he's who he is.
Dating a 20-year-old right now. That's why he's in my rankings.
Yeah, he's dating a co-ed.
Well done, Bill.
He's dating a co-ed. Well, North Carolina went from $4 million to $20 million in the NIL. Yeah, and see, and this is where the cap that, like Joe C was talking about, that cap that they're going to put on it with the revenue share is gonna include NIL. He wishes it ain't. It ain't.
I mean, I'm gonna go back to Bill Belichick again real quick. Do you think Bill Belichick's going to any sorority parties, any frat parties?
No, I think he's having sorority parties at his house.
That's well, I mean, okay, I can do that. Do you think they're bringing them over and letting them party?
Yeah, I think
put your phones in a.
I don't know. He just seems a lot happier than he used to when he was the coach at fucking in New England. Have you seen him when he's on with Pat McAfee and shit? He's all giddy and shit, and just.
Well, that's what they always used to say. He's a different dude, you know, than what he gives off.
Well, sure, but I mean, when's I thought it was hilarious when they were talking to those guys. They were talking to Gronk and Brady and Edelman, and they were like, I can't imagine him recruiting. You know, he's gonna. We don't really want you anyway. You know what I mean? It's you know, the way that he is, and that's really not how he's been. It's every time I see him go on, like,
he's having parties, bro. He's for sure
he's partying down himself.
Why wouldn't you?
He went into the fountain of youth, brother.
Just don't Scott Frost yourself, all right? Just don't Scott Frost yourself. All right, don't party too hard, Bill.
Yeah.
Keep it classy.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's always the one that can get away with. Well, he doesn't always get away with it, but he certainly skirts that line of cheating pretty well, right? He's gonna pull a Mike Price and get fired on his day off. Hell yeah, Robbie. Lincoln set back the defense 4 years at least. I hope Latrell didn't do the same. That 20-year-old chick will help with the new lingo for sure.
Hey, Bill, help me fire off this tweet. Can me help me fire off?
Yeah, he should just stay the fuck off of Twitter and let her run it.
Yeah, let her run it for sure.
Yeah, or let somebody else run it.
That's fucking hilarious.
But the last time I saw him on McAfee's show, he stopped on the side of the road with him and his son, and they were talking, and he was, "Hey, what's up there? What's up, Pat? How's it going?" He was like, "Fuck is this? Who stole Bill Belichick's body?"
Man, last year when he was doing the draft stuff, man,
it was weird, right?
Yeah, it was pretty.
It's fucking weird.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he was there for that roast when they roasted Brady. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen on television, by the way.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking cool.
I just wish they didn't edit it.
Yeah. Wow. You haven't seen it? You haven't seen the unedited version?
I didn't catch the unedited version.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, anytime you bring on Hinchcliffe, man, it's gonna go south quick.
Tony Hinchcliffe's a crazy motherfucker, man.
Because he don't give up
at all.
Hilarious,
dude. Yeah, do you watch that Kill Tony?
Yeah, I've caught a couple of that, man. It's good
Kill
quality.
Tony's crazy as shit, bro. Crazy as shit.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love shit like that. Why they thought didn't he go speak at like a Trump rally and piss everybody off?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What made them think that was going to work out well?
Well, that's I don't think they knew who they was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they knew what he was really about. You know what I mean? I think he's like, oh, he's cool. Yeah, man.
The Roast of Brady's on Netflix. Yeah, it is. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but they edited it, man. They edited it.
Did they edit it on Netflix?
Yeah, they took some shit out of there.
Huh. Probably the stuff about Kraft.
Look at man. Hey, we were talking about John Mateer and what his NIL package was on 55 minutes ago, as we were talking about it. NIL deal sits John Mateer's NIL deal sits around $3 million.
Okay.
Well, hey, but per Pete Nakos, and we already had somebody in here say never believe Pete Nakos.
I don't know why you don't believe Pete Nakos though. Why? He's not usually wrong.
Yeah, I mean he did give himself.
He's not wrong as much as Parker in them.
He said around. He said it sits around $3 million. He didn't say exactly, so he gave him some wiggle room.
Yeah, that could be 2.7.
Yeah, you're right. It
could be 2.7. 31 points first half, 14 in the second. Yeah, guys, I understand, but I'm telling you that I still believe that he's the best play caller. And I don't think he's the best head coach in the country by a long shot, just so we understand. By a long shot. So, and you know that USCJ's over there pounding his chest and about their recruiting, and good for him. I'm not even. I love USCJ. That's my boy. But they had the number one class at this time last year too, and it fell apart to what did they end up at 15 or something like that?
Yeah,
right around where OU was with 18 guys. He has definitely not out recruited Oklahoma. And then, of course, he makes excuses for all this. NIL, it's this, it's that. We have a tougher schedule than everybody else. Tell you one thing: the guys that like to talk shit about Venables, all you got to do is look down the road at fucking Lincoln doing that shit all day long, and then the same shit down there in Louisiana with BK. They're excuse making motherfuckers all day long. All day long.
Yeah.
What's up there, Mars?
Yeah.
What up? Get fired on his day off. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me see. What else was I going to say? There was one other thing I was wanting to look at, but I got rid of that damn thing. 1 second.
Yeah, I can't be sitting around here playing around with y'all no more. I got some trees I got to get put in out here in my yard.
Got some trees to bury today?
Some scaping to do, man. I got these arborvitae greens on the side of my house, and a couple of them died for some reason. So I was all pulling them things out yesterday, and I got all these little slivers in my hand. So even though I had gloves on, it's amazing. But yeah, I gotta go. I got all the.
I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll put everybody. Oh, I'll make a form for the top 25 guys.
All right.
And that way you can just go. We can do it kind of like how we were doing the quarterbacks and the running backs and all that stuff. We still haven't even finished all that kind of stuff either. But I definitely want to go to the coaches here. We're going to do tight ends. We'll probably do that Monday. We can go to tight ends or something on Monday and stuff like that. But let's think about. I'll send that link out. Make sure everybody's paying attention to the channel, or you can go to the website. It'll be on the website hofmedia.us just hofmedia.us. Go to the website. It'll be right there on the front. I'll have that up there this afternoon. So yeah, but yeah, and be thinking about what you think. Who's your top 25 coaches, guys? Give me your top 25. I've got a pretty good idea what my top 25 would probably be. It certainly will not
Rick,
have Sark at the damn top, huh?
Coach Dant, Coach Ricks, Coach Royball, Coach Dant.
Yeah, Coach Royball's number one.
Yeah.
There it is.
Don't leave them out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hey, do y'all watch the Coach JB, Jason Brown's? Do y'all ever tune into his pod?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Oh, dude.
I love it. He's kookier and crazy. He's crazier than shit, man. Crazier than shit.
It's so good. So did you watch? This is one thing I thought about. I thought about this yesterday when I was listening to that show when I was doing some shit. But they were talking about Pac-Man Jones. You know, they had Pac-Man Jones on there, and they were talking about him and like how he was finessing the urinalysis test and all that stuff, and how when they wouldn't pay attention and he would just switch out bottles. You know what I mean? And then like, you know, Coach Brown talked about how when he was the head coach, he went and pissed like the most important player on the team or whatever, the best player on the team, and everybody knew he was a weed smoker. He's like, but he just did that to show the team that he wasn't messing around, but he never like really tested it. You know what I mean? And I had completely forgot about this story. And
Brown did that? Jason Brown did that?
Yeah, as a head coach, when he was a head coach.
He was smoking, but he was testing his players?
No. His best player, one of his best players, to set the tone for the team, right? He piss tests them, but like, you know, he took the pee and like never got it tested, right? Just as a deterrent. Yeah. He's like, hell no. He's like, I ain't that dumb. He's like, I ain't, testing my best player and him coming up hot and not being able to play.
He's gonna come up hot because I've been around their dorms. Fuck.
He's like, I ain't dumb, but
yeah, right.
But it reminded me of a story, not a story, a real life situation that I watched in college. And here's my disclaimer. All right, if you want to just go ahead and undo the pod right now and get up out of here, now's your chance, because it's not disgusting, but like it's real shit. And you're talking about urinalysis tests, so you can imagine where this is going to go, right?
Oh yeah, I already know. Go ahead.
So we got hit up for a UA, right? So usually we didn't really trip on the UAs, but when the NCAA came, like that's when like people got worried, right?
Yeah. Shit, right by the border?
Yeah, so the NCAA at the time wasn't testing for marijuana, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we knew that. But it marijuana and steroids, right? Is what the two major concerns were. So one of my buddies, you know, he's like, I'm in trouble. And we're like, all right, man, well, we got to figure out how to beat this, right? We got to figure out how to beat this. So my man, he's like, I got an idea. So we drive to, you know, one of the adult stores, right? And this dude gets the realest looking
Wizinator?
No, that wasn't even a thing. That wasn't even a thing back in the late 90s.
It wasn't?
I don't think so.
Well,
But he
got one, right? He got one.
He essentially we
you
created
built it.
We created one.
Why did you get that one fucking like made?
I
Why
don't
didn't you
know.
get
So,
that patented?
dude, we went to an adult store, and my man bought the realest like skin tone, like he was matching it to his arm, right? Like bought the realest skin tone, like realest looking
Okay.
dildo, right? I told you it was going there. You can only imagine, right?
I didn't imagine this, but go ahead, continue.
So my man, he created a bladder with a hose through it, and you know, like those like things you use to clip papers together, had that inside with the hose clipped, right? And and he fashioned it right to where all that stuff was in his pants, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you know,
like did you get like a douchebag or something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but he had it connected to a rubber tube, and he had that little clamp right near the end of the tip, right? So, and you know, he kept it on his leg and down in his groin region, so it's, you know, they check temperature too, right? So, you know, so it was still that, you know, that the body temperature, right? So my man, so in the NCAA, like when you pee in front of the NCAA people, like they're standing right in front of you looking at it, right? It ain't like they're off to the side. Like they're like, you know what I mean? They're looking at it, right? And it was the most awkward shit. That was the first time it's ever happened to me. It was so awkward. And we all went and got pissed, and he comes walking out, and his eyes are just big as hell. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there like waiting for him to say something, and they're like, we just walked outside the Pan Am Center. It was in the Pan Am Center. Walked outside the Pan Am Center, and he's like, I think it worked. He's like, I almost got busted, right? So when he went to pinch the little paperclip thing, he's like, it let out like a hiss of like air. You know what I mean? He's like, I thought the dude heard me. He's like, he thought he heard it, you know, because he was like, the guy was right there, and he's like, he filled up the cup, pinched it off, and like put it back in and gave it to the dude, walked out, and he passed. He never got in trouble. Wow. Never got in trouble.
Well, I know where y'all came up with that, because like you were watching the program and shit like that, and y'all
maybe
that's pretty good shit.
I don't remember talking about, but I completely forgot about that.
It's pretty good shit. You did miss out on some cash though. Y'all should have made good on that.
I mean, yeah, it was. So you know what the other part was like trying to find somebody to donate
to piss for you. Now they have the synthetic and all that.
He's like, I ain't giving you my piss. And he's like, what? Come on, bub. We found. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I just remember sitting in there like brainstorming, like drawing the shit up and trying to help them, like, you know, like schematics and how it would work.
Or Mr. Wizarding that shit.
Oh yeah, dude. Crazy, dude. Crazy. But yeah, I thought about that yesterday, and I hadn't thought about that in over 20 years, dude. I probably forgot about it until I heard them talking about it on the Jason Brown JB show. Unbelievable, man.
That's good shit. Hold on.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yep. All right. Yep. That's all I got, man. I'm out of here. I'm about to go get me some. I gotta eat, man. I'm hungry as hell.
I'm looking for something here.
The Wizinator. That's a thing, huh?
The Wizinator? Yeah, you haven't heard of that? It looks like a pecker too.
It's hilarious, but yeah, man.
It's basically what y'all did.
Yeah.
Y'all made the first Wizinator.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, man.
And that's the format. and USC sucks.
That was not the one, but I wanted to put that one out too. But are you not entertained? Where's my are you not entertained?
Yeah. Are you not entertained? Yeah, man. My friend, my friend that did it, man. I ain't seen him or talked to him since we left college, man. He wasn't one of those dudes that was on social media or anything. I wonder what he's up to, man. That's my guy.
Good shit, man. That's pretty good stuff.
It is quality, man. That's a quality story. God
listen,
damn.
That's pretty good, man. I gotta say. Yeah.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
We are here for you folks every freaking 2 days on this show. If you're not coming in here and like hooking us up with shares and likes and helping me get out from underneath the shadow ban, I gotta know why.
Yep. Listen, man, you're not gonna find
Where
too
else
many.
are you gonna get this?
That content, right? That just happened. Like, you're not getting that too many other places, right? That's real shit. And sometimes you just gotta, let loose. And it's college football related, right? It's college football related.
Hey, listen, yeah, hell yeah. It happened in your college football. It doesn't surprise me. Let me just say this. Having been at New Mexico State myself, it doesn't surprise me in the least that it happened there. Not even kind of.
Dude, like Juarez was right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
bro, I mean, I've been there. Yeah.
Well, people got to realize too, Juarez wasn't Juarez that it is today, right? Like you could just walk across and go kick it and come right back. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the border today, right? And everything.
But it was pretty sketchy at times, bro. There was some
it was
shit that
totally
went on
sketchy.
down there.
It wasn't as lockdown. You could just walk in, pay your little quarter, park, and walk across the border right down there.
Pay off cops and shit whenever you did something
everything
stupid.
that you couldn't do in America, as soon as you got into Juarez right there, you could do it. It was all right there. Gambling, all that stuff, right? And that's
just
where
don't go
all
by
the
yourself.
Yeah, that's where all the dudes used to go get their steroids.
Yeah.
It was right there. And it was right across the street from the Mercado. I don't know if you've ever been there, but they had like the big indoor Mercado right there.
A bunch of times, yes.
And dude, my buddies, like, we used to go down there.
Big ass knives, like you ain't gonna have to go back through customs.
Dude, I had some of the best. Dude, I would sit there and I would eat steak and rice and beans and a steak, and drink Carta Blancas and spend like $5. Right? And
just don't drink the water. Just don't drink the water.
Yeah, that's where everybody went on Thursdays, right? You went down to Juarez,
drown.
Like it was the
$10,
time, right?
$10 for drink and drown.
Couldn't beat it, right? But like the store that they used to get all their steroids from was right across the street from the Mercado, right? And I don't know if you remember, but a while back they had a special on HBO about like steroids and stuff like that. And like they were talking about,
a long ways, haven't they?
I think UTEP got busted. I think UTEP got busted at the time.
Yeah.
Remember that when that happened? I think UTEP got busted, and they had a special on it. And in this special, they had a little segment on it, and they filmed that place. And I was watching. I was like, "Holy shit, I know that place." I was like, "That's right across. That's where everybody used to go." You know what I mean?
We go. That's where we go.
Yeah. But I had friends that would go just to go walk around the market and like cruise all the watches, right? Because they had the fake Rollies, the fake Gucci's, and I didn't really pay too much attention to it, but these dudes were good at spotting real, and we went down there so many times with them, and I was like, dude, you guys are never gonna find, and I had forgot about this too until I started talking about Juarez Mercado. And this dude, he comes walking out of the Mercado. He's like, "We got to go." And I'm like, "What do you mean we got to go?" I was like, I just, he's like, "We got to go." So we get up and left. And like, he's like, we hop in the cab and the cab drops us off and we get across and we, you get up to the top of the border right there where the bridge is. And they got the little line right there. And he didn't, I'm trying to like, what the hell? What'd you do? I'm like, bro, I was like, you better not have stole something. Like, if you're stealing something and I'm with you, I was like, we're going to have a problem. And he's like, and he reaches down in his sock and he pulls out this watch with it. And, they had it wrapped up in a bag. And he's like, I was like, bro, did you steal that? He's like, hell no. He's like, I just paid $10 for this. He's like, it's a real Rolex. And he pulled it up
It's a real Rolex.
yeah. And I was like, how do you know it's a real
Mercado,
Rolex?
bro. Come on, man.
He's like, look at it. He's like, it doesn't stop. It just goes smooth. He's like, feel how heavy it is. And I was like, well, I just took his word for it. But
it ain't a real Rolex. So let me just
dude,
let you know.
He swears up and down it was real. I don't know if it was or not, but he swears up and down.
I'll tell you what, I remember getting Oakley's over there.
Yeah.
Oakley's.
He swore up and down. He swore up and down it was real. And I said, all right, dude.
Yeah,
nothing you just over there a lot of money.
Real. Nothing over there is real, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well,
it's like going on Temu and getting a Yeti cup. It ain't a fucking Yeti cup.
Listen, man, the excitement and the panic in that dude, if it wasn't real, he thought it was real. And I can't even
thought he was going to get it robbed while he was in Watkins.
Yeah. Yeah. He was super nervous, dude. And he thought it was real, man, and the way he was acting. But dude, he spent so many days down there doing that, and I'd never seen him come buy anything or leave with anything. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was amazing. It was pretty funny.
Definitely get some. I mean, he didn't care. It was cool. You could go get all kinds of Nike clothes and shit like that, different stuff that that would be way more expensive and just over the border. Of course, it wasn't real. But, you just had to be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that the Mercado was like a thrift store too. Like there's a lot of
it's a flea market is what it is. It's a
for sure. Yeah. It was pretty cool though. I enjoyed walking around there. I should have got some really nice like ostrich boots or something from down there.
Now that you can do, so you go down. What people go to Mexico for a lot that I know, like dentistry, it's way cheaper.
Pharmacy,
yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but you can go if you don't have insurance or whatever on medical. You should definitely go to Mexico if you know somebody that can like hook you up on that. Yeah. I know somebody who got it like one of those tummy tucks recently. She lost all kinds of weight. That was wacky, but she went to what's not Juarez, but outside of San Diego, it's
Tijuana,
TJ, yeah.
Yeah, I was just listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and they were talking about stem cells and it's like how of the places he went, and he's like the number one spot for that is right in Tijuana. He's like it's the best place on earth
for that the tummy tuck stuff,
stem cell stuff. Yep, he was talking about how he had a full like lateral tear in his rotator cuff, and
they'll fix that shit for you right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy was like, he went back to the doctor, and he's like, "This is amazing." He's like, "I've never seen anything heal like this before without surgery."
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, crazy, man.
She went there for that. They like took most of her stomach.
Oh man,
wacky, dude. That people do that.
Never been to Tijuana.
I haven't been to TJ either. I've been to Mazatlan. I've been to Juarez a bunch of times. I've been to Mazatlan, Cancun. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'll tell you another story about Juarez real quick, right? So you remember, and this, I promise you, we'll stop boring you guys with our.
Oh, this is good shit. They're loving it. They're laughing about it. It's good stuff. Never know what you're gonna get on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Brandon.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, the border is crazy, right?
It's wacky.
So you remember when all those girls were getting kidnapped down there and murdered, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a little segment on that in Narcos too, which I thought was actually kind of crazy. One of the later seasons of Narcos. So I was taking a summer class, right? And it was called Border Justice, right? I was a criminal justice major, right?
Yeah.
And those summer classes, you got those like hippies like teaching them, or activist type, people like that in the summers. And so there was a lot of girls that were getting kidnapped on their way home from the factories at the bus stops, right? They were getting picked up and they were getting murdered. And
it happens a lot, man. Yeah.
Kidnapped and murdered, but the guy was dumping the bodies around the factories, right? It was kind of like a factory protest is kind of what I was gathering from it. So we're in class one day, and she's like, "Yeah, we're organizing a thing, and we're gonna go down to Juarez and help look for stuff." And in my mind, I'm like, "Frank." She's like, everybody like sign up, and there's this real good looking girl sitting next to me in class, and she's like, "Are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, hell no, I ain't going down there. My big ass get locked up real quick." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And anyways, she ends up talking me into going, right? So we go down there in a big bus, drive across, and so like what I didn't know about Juarez is like once you, because I'd only been to like the right across the border from Juarez, right? Once you get out past that, it looks like I compare it to like being in like suburban Kansas City, right? Where the Walmarts and all the stores are all the same brick, and it just looked really nice. I was like, damn, I ain't never seen nothing like this, right? So we pull up to this big field outside of the the factory or whatever, and walking around, looking for stuff, and they're like, "Hey, this is where, this body was dumped, and here's what they were wearing." And so we start like walking around and like walking through the fields, and there was like irrigation ditches, and like
Yeah.
I'm walking around, and like I see cop cars like on the outskirts, kind of just driving around watching. So I'm getting nervous, right? And
Oh shit.
oh yeah, dude, it was super crazy, dude. And I'm walking, me and this girl are walking around, and all of a sudden we just hear a scream, right? And so we go walking over there. Well, one of the girls that was murdered and killed there, her parents were there. And one of the kids in the class pulled up this potato sack, and they looked inside it, and it was the clothes from the last clothes that the girl had on that they didn't
Oh.
find. They didn't find it when the body was dumped in the field. The cops and them didn't find any. They didn't find it, or they didn't look. And that's kind of the reason why they're there, because they felt like the cops weren't doing enough and they weren't helping or whatever.
Right.
So this goes on. She's crying, and dude, within like 5 minutes, man, all these unmarked cars and Mexican police, federales and all them showed up, dude. And
Yeah.
I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. I went and hey, bro, I got so nervous. I went, because we essentially made
Hey
those people
man,
look.
they'd throw your ass in
Hey,
fucking
listen, bro,
prison and never let you
as
out.
soon as this unmarked car showed up, I went and I got in the van and I sat down on the floor so like they couldn't see me. And I just sat in there and I just waited until everybody got in the thing, and we left. So it's
Oh,
about 20
fuck
minutes go
yeah.
by, everybody piles in and we ride off.
Yeah.
And they're all like super happy and like high-fiving, and I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. And they're like, okay, we're going to eat or whatever, right? And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I
Take
just
me
want to
the
get out of
fuck
here.
home, dude.
But,
No
hey,
way.
we pull up to this spot, and it's like
Wild.
a one level shopping mall, right? We walk in and we pay, and you go down the stairs. Well, you go down like 7 levels, right? And we come out the door. It's like stadium style seating, right? With a buffet down at the bottom. In
Was this
there,
called
they
the
had
cave
like
or
rock.
something like that? Was this called the
They had
cave?
cliff diving in there. There was people like doing flips and cliff diving into this pool while I'm sitting there eating tacos and chili rellenos, and I was just like, this is I would have never expected walking into a place like this. Like it didn't you just walked in and you went down, and you'll come through some doors, and I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like cliff diving, they had mariachi bands in there, buffet.
That's
Dude,
wild. I've never heard of this joint.
it was crazy. I don't even know what it was called. I don't even remember it. But
Huh.
yeah, man, your
I remember
boy
they had
just
that club called the Cave or something like that, and you had to go down to that on that
yeah.
one too. It
No, this
was
was like a buffet, dude. It was crazy.
weird. And a cafe and cliff diving, huh?
Yeah, it
Huh.
was a buffet and cliff diving, man. And in intermission, they
A
had these.
buffet and cliff diving, yeah.
Yeah, they had people come out and like sing, and mariachi bands or whatever, and then some other dude would come out and do some
Yeah.
dive. It was crazy, dude. It was absolutely crazy.
The last time I went there, well, it wasn't the last time, but the last time I went there with a bunch of people from school, we went to drink and drown night, getting fucked up. And this was starting to hook up with this chick. And she was, and I thought, well, I'll take her back to El Paso or whatever. She's like, no, come to Juarez. We can go to this room here. And I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but like, there was this other guy that had been dancing with her, and then I was dancing with her. And the next thing you know, we're all on the bridge leaving, drunker
Yeah.
than shit.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't go with her, none of that kind of stuff. But the guy was pissed off though that I ended up like whatever. They wanted to start, and it's like 6 of us on each side, and we just start fighting right in the middle of the bridge, just getting it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, all these unarmed cops have us all up against the fence, handcuffed and shit.
Yep.
That was I don't know how we got out of that shit.
Let me tell you something.
The first time I went with my boys, I just got new Jordans. And one of the dumbasses, we come out of that bar, that cave bar, and he still got a beer. You're not supposed to have them on the street.
Yep.
And the cops walk right up to us, and he's like, "Oh man, my bad." And he throws it in the trash can. And the guy's like, "Nah, too late." Yeah. And he was like, "Well, here, I got some money." He goes, "Nah, I want those." He's pointing at my fucking Jordans. And I was like, "Oh, fuck you, dude." I was like, and we were so close to the little border crossing part. We just hauled ass on them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Been there, done that. Had to walk out.
Like, that's why I give you these. Where the fuck am I gonna wear? He's like, "It's not my problem."
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy Satterfield, trust me. I went in there and pounded a couple beers real quick.
Dude.
Real quick.
Hey man, and I've heard that that's a pretty mild story, I gotta tell you. I've heard some shit about and dude, well, they were putting guys in freaking, they were finding all kinds of people the last 10 years in 55-gallon drums, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll kill you, or they'll kill your ass on the street and wait for the cops. They don't give a fuck.
Toward the end of the year, toward the end of my time in Cruises is like when they started just randomly going in and shooting up clubs. And the coaches were like, "Yeah, that's off limits for you guys. You guys can't go down there anymore." But yeah, it was wild, man.
I didn't say that I had speed, TP. That's not what I said.
No, hey, listen, man.
I said we ran, and these cops weren't exactly,
We
quick.
came out of the Copacabana one night.
I was faster than I am now,
though. We come out of the Copacabana, and the Twins, the Twins.
Yeah, they're wilder than shit too, and they don't.
I come walking out, and something's going on, and dude, as soon as I walked out the club, I felt somebody grab my arm and try to like put it behind my back. Like, as soon as I walked out, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell?" And I turned to look and saw the cop, the dude trying to put handcuffs on me. Bro, I spun out of that shit and just ran toward the bridge. You know how you get to the little turnstiles when you go across the bridge? I was like, hurdled that joint. Wow. Ran up to the top, got to the top of the bridge and turned around and looked, and I was all by myself. There was nobody chasing me, nobody following me, man. I walked down through the American border, and I was sweating, and the guy was like, "Was somebody chasing you? You running from the cops?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't even know what the hell's going on." He's like, "Well, you're an American now, bud." He's like, "Good luck." And I was just, the border patrol guy walked in. I just went, sat by the car, waited for everybody to come back. It was crazy, man. Yeah, I had my own little Juarez run too.
Yeah. Hell yeah, you got to. Well, and when I looked at my buddies, I was like, I mean, we're gonna give them $40 or $50. I just got these, and they were the Space Jam Jordans, I think they're the 8s or whatever. This is only really the only Jordans I've ever had, because most of them are uncomfortable. Yeah. So those ones weren't. They were awesome, but I was like, I just got these, and what the fuck am I gonna wear? And he was like, "That's not my problem." And I just looked at my boys, and I was like, "Fuck this!" And we knew, let's go. Yeah. Yeah. So jumped over that little turnstile, hauled ass, and I was like, I kept thinking we were gonna get cut off, somewhere on the bridge, but I guess not. The other times, they were always coming from the American side, like when we got busted that time. But we ended up, I think we got out of that for like $70 or $80. But we had one friend, of course, that knows Spanish and was talking shit to the cops, and it costed more to get him out, of course. And he was like, "I wouldn't have paid him shit." And I was like, "Oh yeah, well, we could have just left you there to have your chicken bone soup, I guess." You know what I mean? Like, your fucking mom.
Yeah, dude. Juarez was crazy, man. Like, I remember my mom come to visit, man, and I took my mom over there. I took my mom across the border, and we went to the market. Went to the Mercado.
Are you crazy? Damn. Yeah. I'd have never taken
it. It wasn't really like that though.
Yeah, here's the thing, if you take a cab or something and go over, you're good to go.
Yeah. You just get it right in the cab across the border, shoot in.
Yeah, listen, you can get an El Paso cab and they'll take you anywhere you want to go in town. The last time I went to Mexico, my son was playing a golf tournament there, a junior golf tournament. Have you ever played golf in Mexico? Did you ever play golf down there?
No.
It's fucking great.
All I played was a university course.
So they had caddies, of course, this place was super nice, man. And there's some rich people, and there's a lot of really dirt ass poor people there too, but there are some rich fucking people in Juarez. But this was shit. Man, I don't know. I was pretty young still. It was right after the military, I think. We weren't scared of shit. We didn't give a fuck. But we went down there, and the caddy was cool. He's carrying 2 bags, you know. We had 4 of us playing. There's 2 caddies. They're both carrying 2 bags. We got beer in them. He's drinking. The caddy's drinking. They were great. They could barely speak. I mean, they had us hooked up. Yeah. We start running out of beer on, like, I don't remember the whole. We were pretty hammered by now. And the guy's like, "You want me to go get some more beer?" And I was just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, yeah." And he drops those bags and he was like, "Can I get one?" I was like, "Yeah, here." And I gave him money. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Yeah, go." And he was like, "Leave those there." And okay, yeah, we're not picking them up, bro. It's good. So we see this dude hauling ass across the golf course, just running across the damn, fairway to fairway. Running. This dude was running. He comes back with bags full of beer and ice, man. These big ass bags. It's like shopping bags. He's running again, hauling ass. He didn't give a shit. And I mean, we weren't even done with the hole yet, and he was back. It was pretty badass. You talk about good service. I don't think it cost us like $60 each for all the beer and playing with the caddy. It was great.
Yeah.
Can't probably do it now.
No.
But it is what it is.
No. Good times, man. But yeah, that's it, man. I told my one story, man. I'm out. Time to eat.
I'm good too, man. See, you never know what you're gonna get here, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Hey, we mean to entertain. We do.
Story time
with Big Mike. We'll do this. We'll start doing this every week.
That got me thinking too. Is like, how many things have I forgot? You know what I mean? Like,
dude. Oh man, yeah.
I don't know how you forget like making a Wizinator before the Wizinator. You know what I mean? And
it's pretty crazy, bro. I wasn't expecting that to come out of your mouth. I knew you were going somewhere that probably wasn't great, but that I didn't expect. That's pretty good.
Pretty crazy, man.
Pretty good. Crazy. Ingenuity.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man.
I know that came from I know y'all got that thought from watching the program.
Dude, we were right across the street in alumni dorms when we concocted that during camp. It was fall camp.
The alumni dorms, yeah.
Yep. Right, because that's where we used to stay, right across from the stadium.
Yeah.
Now they ain't even like that no more. They knocked them shits down and it's like all indoor.
Did they?
Yeah.
It's all the indoor practice facility and all that stuff?
No. I'm talking about the alumni dorms.
Oh, they just redid them. They redid them all?
All down, redid them. Yeah.
I was at Garcia Hall whenever I got there.
Yeah, that's still there.
Is it? Oh, it was a shithole then. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I was in Rhodes.
That's where all the parties went down, though. I mean, it was the place to be, really.
Yeah, I stayed over there in Rhodes, right next to the Virgin Vault.
Yeah. The Virgin Vault.
That's what they used to call it, man. The all girls dorms.
That's some funny shit. Yep. All right, man. Guys, we appreciate everybody coming in. I hope you guys have been enjoying this as much as we have been enjoying it. So make sure that you get over there, hit that like button, jump over to Marcus Dents as well, and do the same at there. And look, guys, appreciate Coop coming in with us as well, man. That's always fun to have him on, and he's always got some good information. He's one of those guys that says he's not an insider, but kind of is an insider. So, that's how it goes with Coop. But no, man, I appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you for coming in, Big Mike. As always, enjoy having you. It was good having story time with you, man. Good shit.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. For sure.
Good stuff.
For sure.
All right, man. I appreciate everybody else coming in. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you all in the next one.
Holler.